The sun was like a torch, hitting the glass windows of the coffee shop near the campus. The air in the shop was as hot as a steamer, mixed with the rich aroma of coffee beans and greasy butter, making the back of Qin Feng's shirt wet. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and squeezed through the crowded bar with the tray, his steps as fast as a race. In the last week of summer vacation, high school seniors flocked to this small shop called Morning Light, and became their temporary haven. The screams of laughter, the clanking of spoons against the walls of cups, and the ringtones of mobile phones turned into a mess. "Hey, kid! Where's my latte? It's been half an hour, are you reincarnated as a tortoise?" A middle-aged man with oily hair and powdery face slapped the table, his voice was as rough as sandpaper grinding against a wall. Several high school girls around him shrank their necks in fear and secretly glanced at Qin Feng. The woman next to the man echoed and smiled bitterly, "What's going on with this store? The new semester is about to start, and it's a waste of money to find a job like this for a rookie." Qin Feng felt angry, clenched his teeth, and the tray in his hand trembled slightly. He had only been here for a week, but his boss had thrown him into the most difficult position in the kitchen, where he had to serve dishes, make coffee, and clean tables. He stood there from morning till night, and his legs were as sore as if they were filled with lead. His parents are divorced and his younger brother is still in junior high school. He works hard to pay for school fees. How can he have time to argue with these evil guests? "Sir, you'll be right there. Please wait a moment." He forced a smile, but his voice was as low as a mosquito's hum. The proprietress, sisterly, rushed out of the kitchen. She stood in front of Qin Feng with her chubby body and her face was ashen. "Qin Feng. What did you do? The customers have complained about you 3 times. If you do this again, get out. Our store does not support idlers." He turned to the man and smiled, "Mr. Wang, I'm sorry. This guy is a newbie. I'll deduct his salary to apologize." "Don't be angry." The man snorted coldly and crossed his legs, "Deduction of salary? I want to waive the order. Otherwise, I will destroy your store." The store instantly became quiet, with customers whispering to each other. Some looked at Qin Feng sympathetically, while others shook their heads with gloating. Qin Feng's fists were clenched until they turned white, and humiliation surged into his heart like a tide. He imagined that at the beginning of the new semester, there would be a gang of competitive madmen on campus, the top students fighting for spots, the school bully Lu Ting running rampant, and friendship as precious as a rarity. He, Qin Feng, was just an ordinary high school student. Why was he so unlucky? Sweat slid down the bridge of his nose and dripped on the floor, making a slight pop sound. Just then, a tall and thin boy came from the back kitchen carrying freshly brewed coffee. He wore black-rimmed glasses and had messy hair, as if he had just come out of the library. The boy gently placed the cup in front of the man. Heat rose up, and the rich aroma of coffee instantly overcame the stifling smell in the store. "Sir, this is an upgraded version of caramel latte. I added handmade latte art, which is guaranteed to be more authentic than Starbucks." His voice was as calm as lake water, without any trace of panic. The man was stunned, picked up the cup and took a sip, and his eyes suddenly widened. This taste. It's more mellow than the last time I drank in a 5-star hotel." The woman also leaned over and exclaimed, "Wow, the latte art is heart-shaped, so cute." The surrounding customers applauded, and some people whispered, "Who is this guy?" The rookie just now was far behind. The proprietress, sisterly, opened her mouth in an O shape and looked at the boy blankly. "Chen Feng, when did you learn this?" The boy, Chen Feng, smiled slightly, turned around and winked at Qin Feng. "Brother, don't be stunned, pass the candy bag to me." Qin Feng reacted and handed it over quickly, and the anger in his heart was extinguished instantly. This kid is a transfer student who came in the day before yesterday. He also works during the summer vacation. He usually talks as little as a mute. Who knew he could be so stable at critical moments? The man nodded with satisfaction. okay, let's get rid of the bill. This cup is worth it. He dropped the money and walked away. Sisterly patted Chen Feng on the shoulder and said in a trembling voice, Boss Feng, you saved the store. Qin Feng, learn from this. All the customers' eyes turned to Chen Feng, and someone whistled, handsome guy, great craftsmanship. Qin Feng looked at Chen Feng, a hint of admiration flashed in his eyes. This introverted boy was so hidden. Qin Feng was stunned and patted him on the shoulder, what a coincidence, so am I. My father works out of town, and my mother takes care of my younger brother. I work part-time to pay for the tuition for the third year of high school. The competition on campus is fierce, and the school bully Lu Ting specializes in bullying marginalized people like us. Friendship? Ha, we should cherish it even more. He handed over a bottle of iced Coke. There were drops of water on the bottle, and the coolness seeped into the palm of his hand. Chen Feng took it, took a sip, and his Adam's apple rolled. Yes, the new semester has begun, and top students are competing for Olympiad spots. We ordinary people have to make it on our own. Dream? I want to get into Tsinghua University and prove it to my dad. He says I am worthless. As night fell, they were left alone in the store to clean up the mess. The sound of a broom swiping across the floor mixed with the chirping of cicadas outside the window and the roar of traffic in the distance. Qin Feng leaned against the bar and rubbed his sore shoulders. Thanks, buddy. If it weren't for you today, I would definitely be fired. Chen Feng wiped the coffee machine, his eyes behind the lenses reflecting the light. It's a small matter. My family is poor, my parents are divorced, and I have to earn my own money to go to college. I transferred here and wanted to keep a low profile, but I didn't expect to encounter a nasty visitor on the first day. The two looked at each other, and sparks seemed to fly in the air. Qin Feng laughed, brothers. Let's carry it together from now on. Chen Feng raised the corners of his mouth and showed a rare bright smile, okay. The summer vacation is over. On the last day, let's finish the work. Over the next few days, they were inseparable. In the early morning, the aroma of ground coffee beans filled the air. Qin Feng was imitating Chen Feng in latte art, and his hands were shaking like Parkinson's. Chen Feng taught patiently, steady your mind and imagine the girls on campus. Qin Feng blushed, don't make trouble, Sun Wan's girls, I don't even dare to say anything. Chen Feng blinked, try it at the beginning of school, the desk message game, have you heard? Anonymous voice messages, exciting. During peak hours, there was a huge flow of customers, and they cooperated tacitly. Once, a table of drunkards made a scene and smashed glasses. The sound of shattering glass was jarring and the smell of alcohol hit their nostrils. Qin Feng blocked the front, and Chen Feng went around to call the police. The drunk man stared, boy, are you looking for death? A passing customer screamed and backed away, and Sisterly was so scared that she hid in the kitchen. It's over, it's over. Qin Feng's heart beat like a drum and his clothes were soaked with sweat, but Chen Feng whispered, brother, hold on. When the police came, the drunk man was dragged away, and the people around applauded, you two are awesome. You saved the store. Sisterly wiped her tears and said, I'll give you a day off. After closing time late at night, they sat on the doorstep, the starry sky was bright, and the cool breeze carried the fragrance of osmanthus on their faces. Qin Feng blew out a smoke ring, actually it was an e-cigarette, there are many secrets on campus. I heard that guy Lu Ting bullies transfer students during the summer vacation and specializes in stealing money. Chen Feng's eyes darkened, my dad is in debt, so I transferred to another school to avoid creditors. I dream of going to college and changing my life. Qin Feng clenched his fists, let's counterattack together. In the new semester, let's join forces and let the school bully get out. On the last day, the lights in the store were dim and the customers had dispersed. Sisterly stuffed the red envelope, you two are the treasures of the store. Qin Feng packed up his backpack, and Chen Feng suddenly came closer and smiled mysteriously, after school starts, I will see you at the desk. Remember my words, Qin Feng. His eyes were shining with strange light, as if he was hiding a campus legend. Qin Feng was stunned. What do you mean? Shen now. Chen Feng patted his shoulder. You will know when you get there. Brother, take care. On the first day of the new semester, the campus bells ring melodiously, the students on the playground are noisy, and the air is filled with the scent of new books, ink, and girls' perfume. Qin Feng carried his school bag and excitedly opened the classroom door. Class 3, 2, the seats were still the same. Class beauty Sun Wan was riding in the front row with her head bowed, her hair as long as a waterfall, and her profile so gentle that it made people's hearts move. Lin Yuyen, her best friend, whispered, I heard that Lu Ting has transferred here again. What a tragedy. Qin Feng sat down and looked down at the desk as a habit, and suddenly froze. The desktop was covered with dense handwriting, and the marks were deep, as if it had been cut by a sharp blade. Qin Feng, my best friend during the summer vacation, do you remember the smell of coffee? Campus secrets, starting from the desk. Challenge Lu Ting, reveal my pain. Signed, Chen Feng. The handwriting was crooked, and there was a heart-shaped latte art pattern on the corner. The students around came over and widened their eyes. Wow, desk message. Who did it? Qin Feng, do you know Chen Feng? Sun Wan turned her head, her pretty face flushed. This is so mysterious. Lin Yuyen screamed, oh my god, is this the legendary desk delivery? Qin Feng, you are involved in a big incident on campus. Qin Feng's heart was beating wildly, his fingers touched the scratches, and Chen Feng's smiling face appeared. What secret is hidden in this message? Lu Ting's shadow has quietly approached. Qin Feng, who left this message? Chen Feng. I've never heard of it. Huh, where did you go fooling around during the summer vacation and made a good friend? Wang Hao, the fat man in the back row, slapped the table and laughed, his mouth full of potato chip dregs flying around, causing a roar in the room. His buddies followed and shouted, desk pass. Why are you pretending to be mysterious? The last time Lu Ting caught someone leaving such an anonymous message, he smashed the table. Qin Feng, you are done, wait until you are targeted by the school bully. The girls whispered. Lin Yuyen came close to Sun Wan's ear, her voice was as sharp as a needle pricking. Wan, look at Qin Feng's face turning as red as a monkey's butt, could it be that he carved it himself? Isn't it possible for him to chase you and play such childish tricks? The noise in the classroom was like exploding firecrackers. The bell had just fallen, and the muffled sound of students' schoolbags hitting the table, the harsh friction of chairs mopping the floor, and the giggles of girls were intertwined. The smell of new mats floated in the air, mixed with the green smell of the lawn from the playground and the smell of the boys' sweat. Qin Feng's fingers were still resting on the notch on the desk, and the crooked handwriting was like the flames hidden behind Chen Feng's black-rimmed glasses, burning his palms. The students around him were getting closer and closer, someone was pushing his shoulders, and their hot breath was blowing on his neck. Sun Wan's face was slightly turned sideways, her long eyelashes fluttering, turning into golden powder reflecting the sunlight outside the window. She bit her lip and scanned the message with her eyes, a confused blush appeared on her pretty face. No way, coffee smell. Challenging Lu Ting. It sounds so dangerous. Her voice was soft, like melting marshmallows, and Qin Feng heard his heart thumping, and almost jumped out of his throat. He wanted to explain, but Wang Hao grabbed him by the neck. Brother, tell me. Who is this brother? The new handsome guy. Share, don't hide your secrets. Qin Feng's throat was dry, and beads of sweat slid down the back of his neck into his collar, making it sticky. He glanced around the classroom, and the empty seats in the back corner suddenly came into view. No, wait, there was a familiar tall and thin figure sitting there, with black-rimmed glasses lowered and messy hair covering his eyebrows, lowering his head and pretending to flip through a book. Chen Feng. Has he transferred to this class? Qin Feng's eyes widened and he pushed Wang Hao's arm away. His voice could not suppress his excitement. Chen Feng. When did you transfer in? This message is awesome. The whole class turned their attention to the back row. Chen Feng slowly raised his head, and a cold light flashed through his lenses. The classmates around him gasped, and Lin Yuyan's mouth opened wide. Wow, isn't that the handsome latte art guy in the coffee shop? I heard he was the hero who saved the shop during the summer vacation. Wang Hao was stunned, and the potato chips fell from his mouth. Transfer student. So low-key. Qin Feng, what's the relationship between you two? Chen Feng's mouth curled up slightly, but he didn't say anything, just nodded to Qin Feng. His eyes were like the bitterness of concentrated coffee, hiding a silent understanding. The sun was fierce at noon, and the asphalt road in the playground reflected heat waves, distorting the air. The muffled sound of a basketball hitting the ground in the distance, the roar of boys, and the fishy smell of sweat and soil hit my face. Qin Feng leaned under the basket, his t-shirt soaked and sticking to his back, and his legs were still sore from working. Chen Feng arrived belatedly, holding 2 popsicles in his hand, the creamy smell spreading in the hot wind. Brother, on the first day of school, you are being watched, right? If you want to express your feelings, suppress them first, remember this trick. Chen Feng handed over the popsicle, and the coolness instantly rushed into the palm of his hand. Qin Feng took a bite, and the sweet juice flowed from the corner of his mouth. Enough of the suppression. Tell me, what is the desk pass? Challenge Lu Ting, expose the pain, your family affairs. Chen Feng's eyes were dark, and his pupils shrank behind his lenses. The rules of the game are simple: carve the inside of the desk anonymously, and pass on the knots, secrets, and challenges. The first one starts with Sun Wan. She is the class beauty, as meticulous as a hare, and can help us dig up the campus sleaze. That bastard Lu Ting, I have to protect him during the summer vacation. Fei, I pretended to be poor and escaped, but he has a lot of connections and is targeting our best friend. Sooner or later, it will be a big deal. My pain, Dad owes loan sharks, and changing schools is to escape the debt. He dreams of Tsinghua University and has to rely on this game to attract people and counterattack. His voice was low and hoarse, like sandpaper grinding his heart, and veins popped out from his fists. The school bell rang sharply, and the teacher opened the door and came in. The sound of chalk hitting the blackboard suppressed the discussion. Qin Feng felt itchy and couldn't bear it, so he passed a note to Chen Feng while the letter was being distributed. Brother, see you on the playground at noon. Please clarify the rules of the game. Chen Feng turned around and scrawled 3 words on the note: iron-blooded delivery. Qin Feng clenched his fist, and blood surged in his chest, but he heard Sun Wan in the front row whisper to Lin Yuyan, this message. I always feel that it is aimed at me. Qin Feng is not the pusher, right? The lunch break bell rang, the classroom was empty, the curtains were half opened, and the sunlight slanted into mottled light and shadow. The fragrance of new book ink permeates the air, mixed with the dry and astringent smell of chalk dust. Qin Feng slipped into the classroom, his heart beating like a drum and his palms wet with sweat. He opened the cover of Sun Wan's desk. The inside was a smooth wooden board with faint old scratches. Gritting his teeth, he took out a pocket knife, used for peeling fruits at work. The sharp, squeak sound of the tip of the knife scratched the wood. With trembling hands, he carved, past the secret game, starting from Sun Wan, revealing the hidden pain on campus. Remember the smell of coffee? My dear friend initiated it and challenged Lu Ting. Heart-shaped latte art, trust me. After carving, the sawdust fell, he wiped it clean and breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, there were heavy footsteps outside the door, like a hammer hitting the ground. Qin Feng's heart tightened, he hid under the table and looked through the gap. Lu Ting. The school bully, who was 1.9 meters tall and had vague tattoos on his bulging muscles, came in first, followed by 3 younger brothers. The air suddenly became stagnant, and the smell of cigarette smoke and low-quality perfume assaulted my nostrils. I heard that there are people leaving messages on desks to cause trouble. I hate anonymous ghosts the most. Lu Ting's voice was as rough as thunder, and he kicked over the chair in the front row with a loud bang. The younger brothers laughed ferociously. Boss, the freshman transfer student Chen Feng is so skinny that we have been following him during the summer vacation to steal his money. Qin Feng's heart sank, remembering the oath he made under the stars that night in the coffee shop, and patted him on the shoulder, iron-blooded. I don't believe in fate. Since Sun Wan passed on, I will engrave a second one, copy your words, and add a coffee heart shape. Protect the friendship and defeat Lu Ting. The two fisted, and the muffled sound of the collision of bones echoed in the heat wave. Chen Feng rarely laughed. Rule 1, only pass inside, anonymously. 2, the recipient must respond immediately. 3, involve the school bully, join forces. Brother, take action during lunch break. Lu Ting and the others made a fuss for half an hour before leaving, and the classroom returned to dead silence. Qin Feng climbed out. His legs were so weak that he was trembling, and he secretly made up his mind. The game is not only about spreading secrets, but also about taking action. During the afternoon break, he saw Sun Wan returning to her seat. When he turned over the desk cover, his hands froze and his eyes were as wide as bells. Her best friend Lin Yuyan came over. Wan, what's wrong? Your face is as white as a ghost. Sun Wan touched the scratches with her fingers and her voice trembled slightly. This, passing game. Start with me. Reveal the hidden pain on campus. Coffee smell, who is it? Her eyes drifted to Qin Feng, with confusion and an inexplicable palpitation, and a blush crept up to her ears. Lu Ting grabbed a freshman's school bag and threw it to the ground. The books scattered with a loud clatter. The freshman cowered in fear and his voice trembled. Brother Lu, I have no money, spare me. Lu Ting spat, yellow stains splashed on the ground. Transfer dog, pay the protection fee. Otherwise, I will smash your desk. He hit the desk with his fist, sawdust flying, and cracks like spider webs. The students passing by around him retreated secretly, and someone whispered, it's tragic, it's here again. Qin Feng left a message there, he will definitely be involved. Qin Feng hid under the table, his fists bleeding, humiliation and anger burning his heart. Chen Feng's pain started from this? I'm a protective man, I'll risk my life. Lin Yuyan screamed, oh my god. Sun Wan, you have been chosen. The legend of this game is super exciting. There was a scandal about the principal last time. Qin Feng also has it. Could it be that he passed it on to you? Sun Wan shook her head and bit her lip. It doesn't look like, the handwriting steady, with a heart shape, so familiar. The campus is aching, Lu Ting. It's so dangerous. She closed the table cover, her eyes were thoughtful, and she looked at Qin Feng. The look was like electricity, and Qin Feng's heart skipped a beat, and his face was as hot as fire. The students around him were talking a lot. Sun Wan has received the message. Qin Feng, are you two having an affair? Wang Hao glared, impossible, is that rookie Qin Feng worthy? The school bell rang, the sunset stained the windows like blood, the campus radio reverberated with singing, and the smell of girls' perfume and boys' sweat lingered in the air. Qin Feng packed his school bag, and Chen Feng came from the back row and whispered, has it been passed? Sun Wan's reaction. Qin Feng nodded, thinking thoughtfully. I saw Lu Ting bully the freshman at noon. I saw it with my own eyes and was furious. Chen Feng's eyes were sharp. In the first battle, I will start with him. Wait for my signal in the evening. As soon as Qin Feng left school, his phone vibrated, and a strange text message popped up. The icon was a heart-shaped latte art. Qin Feng, see you in the woods behind the school at 8 o'clock in the evening. Leave a message with the true meaning, questioning you and Chen Feng. Sun Wan. His eyes widened, the phone almost dropped, and his heart beat like a drum. Sun Wan asked him out. Alone? Does this game hide a bigger secret? The shadows of the trees were dancing, and the night wind was already chilling. Lu Ting's laughter came faintly from the playground in the distance, like a wild beast roaring. Qin Feng clenched his phone and his blood boiled. Brother, come on. Beside the woods, cicadas were chirping, leaves were rustling, and the moonlight was dappled with light. Sun Wan was already waiting there, her white skirt swaying gently in the wind, and her scent was like an orchid. She turned around, her eyes shining in the night. Qin Feng, you're here. The message on the desk was engraved by you, right? Who is Chen Feng? Why did you start with me? Is the campus aching because of Lu Ting? Her voice was trembling, and she took a step closer, so close that she could hear each other's heartbeats. Qin Feng's throat tightened and his palms were wet with sweat. Sun Wan, I didn't carve it, but I am the one who delivers it. Chen Feng, my best friend, we fight side by side in the summer coffee shop. His family is in pain, and his father is in debt. We are going to expose Lu Ting's shady story and get you to join him. Sun Wan took a half step back, his eyes returning. Brothers? It sounds romantic, but dangerous. I heard that Lu Ting has a gangster background. You two are ordinary students, how can you counterattack? Lin Yuyan suddenly jumped out from behind the tree, startling Qin Feng. Nuan, I will come with you to protect you. Qin Feng, tell the truth, or you will repay the teacher. At this moment, there were cluttered footsteps in the distance and the smell of smoke came. Lu Ting's little brother. Qin Feng's heart sank and he pushed the girls away. Hide quickly. There is an ambush. In the night, the crisis was approaching. Sun Wan's hand accidentally held his arm, and the soft touch felt like electricity. Where is Chen Feng's shadow? The game has just begun. The shadows of the trees swayed like ghosts, the moonlight broke into silver needles and pierced into the grove, and the air was filled with the smell of wet earth and the smoke from the barbecue stall in the distance. Sun Wan's hand was still holding Qin Feng's arm, and the soft touch was like fire running into his blood, making his brain buzz. Lin Yuyan's eyes widened, her mouth opened in an O shape, and the figure that had just emerged froze on the spot. You two, are holding on so tightly, do you think I don't exist? Her voice was as sharp as a cat's claws scratching the glass, and the footsteps were getting closer and closer. The messy leather shoes broke dead branches with a click sound, mixed with a low laughter and curse. Boss, there is a ghost here. Sun Wan took a step back, her skirt rustling across the grass, her eyes sparkling in the night. Brother Iron. It sounds like a novel, but the smell of coffee and the heart-shaped latte art are so familiar. Qin Feng, do you know? Lu Ting is eyeing me. During class last week, he asked me to chat with him. After I refused, my younger brother followed me every day. I was so stressed that I couldn't sleep. Is he the kind of person who is in pain on campus? Her voice trembled, and her white teeth reflected the moonlight as she bit her lip, as fragile as a candle in the wind. Lin Yuyan stepped forward and grabbed her arm. Nuan, don't believe it. Qin Feng, you two were fooling around during the summer vacation, and now you are playing games to cheat girls. Call the police to arrest you. She raised her phone, the blue light of the screen was dazzling. Qin Feng's pride felt like being pricked by needles, and his face turned red. What do you know? We need to take action, steal evidence, and kill him. The sound of footsteps was close at hand, and 5 or 6 black shadows sprang out from the edge of the woods. The smell of smoke and alcohol hit his face like waves. The leader was none other than Lu Ting, a tall man of 1.9 meters. His muscles bulged like iron in the moonlight, and his tattoos glowed faintly blue. He smiled evilly, his voice as rough as a grinding wheel. Hey, the pretty boy Qin Feng, the class beauty Sun Wan, and the gossip wizard Lin Yuyan. I heard that you guys play the Iron Buddy desk game. Anonymous lettering to pass on secrets, childish. I hate being sneaky the most. Last time I smashed 10 tables, this time it's your turn. He waved his hand, and the boys gathered around. The sound of the belt being pulled out was heard, and someone's fists made their joints crack. Qin Feng's heart beat like a war drum and he jerked his arm back. When Sun Wan's fingers slipped away, their fingertips trembled slightly, leaving a trace of residual warmth burning his skin. He growled, "Stop talking nonsense. Sun Wan, listen to me, that message is not a prank. Chen Feng is my best friend. We placed a big order together in the summer coffee shop and swore to change our lives under the stars. His father owed loan sharks and changed schools to avoid debts. The game was to connect people to join forces to dig up the shady stories on campus, starting with Lu Ting." His voice was low and hoarse, beads of sweat rolled down the bridge of his nose, and the salty taste seeped into the seam of his lips. Qin Feng's anger burned through Tianling Gai, his chest surged like lava, and his sore legs from working during the summer vacation turned into steel at this moment. He rushed forward to block the girls, his voice booming, "Lu Ting, you bullied the freshmen, smashed the table, and stared at the girls for money. The whole school knows. Brotherhood game. This is a statement of challenge. Get out." Lu Ting's eyes narrowed, and he laughed mockingly, "A statement of challenge? Is it you, a chicken?" His iron fist whizzed over, and the wind was like a knife, hitting Qin Feng's face. Qin Feng dodged sideways, his fists grazed his ears, and the hot wind burned his face, but he swept out with his back legs and kicked the younger brother's knees with the strength he had practiced at work. The guy screamed and knelt down, and the thud shook the ground. The younger brothers pounced on him with red eyes, raining down punches and kicks. Qin Feng protected his head, and there was a bang sound from his elbow in his abdomen. The pain was like burning fire. He bent over and retched, and the smell of blood filled his throat. Sun Wan screamed, "Qin Feng!" She rushed forward and tried to pull him away, but Lin Yuyan cried, "Stop! You beasts!" Lu Ting grabbed Qin Feng's collar and lifted it up like a chicken. His knees made a muffled sound on his abdomen. Stars appeared in front of Qin Feng's eyes, and his ribs seemed to be broken. He spit out a mouthful of blood and splashed on the ground, red and black flashing in the moonlight. Lu Ting smiled evilly, "Childish game. I will destroy you with one punch. Sun Wan, come here to accompany me, or he will die." Sun Wan's face turned pale, and she grabbed Lin Yuyan's clothes with cold fingers. Lu Ting, what do you want to do? This is behind the school." Lin Yuyan's legs went weak and her voice trembled like a sieve, "Don't come here. Get out of here, you gangsters." Lu Ting laughed, causing the leaves to rustle, and he approached Qin Feng step by step. "Boy, I heard that you carving Sun Wan's table. Want to be a hero and save the beauty? I have been eyeing Chen Feng, the thin monkey who transferred to another school, and failed to steal his money. Now, why don't you guys join forces? Kneel down and call me, please don't fight me." The younger brothers laughed and pushed Lin Yuyan, and she screamed and said, "Ouch," her skirt was torn and blood oozed. Just when Qin Feng's vision was blurred and he expected the pain of a broken bone to engulf him, a tall and thin figure flashed out from behind the tree, approaching like a ghost. Chen Feng. His black-framed glasses reflected the moonlight. He held the phone in his hand and held it up to play. A harsh recording blasted out, "Lu Ting, your father owes money to the underworld, and he pays it back with student protection fees. The loan sharks are chasing you to the school, and the transfer student Chen Feng is your target." In the recording, it is the whole process of Lu Ting smashing the table and bullying the freshmen at noon. It is as clear as a movie, accompanied by his personal threat, "If you don't pay, I will smash your home." The faces of the younger brothers suddenly changed, and they all turned their heads. "Boss, this." Lu Ting's face was livid, and he let go of Qin Feng. Qin Feng fell to the ground with a thud, holding his abdomen and gasping for air. Lu Ting rushed towards Chen Feng, "Skinny monkey. Are you secretly recording?" Chen Feng backed away, with a sneer on his lips, and threw his phone to Qin Feng, "Brother, send it to the whole school group. Qin Feng reluctantly clicked on it, and the WeChat group exploded instantly. The recording spread like wildfire, and the ringtones rang out randomly. Students poked their heads at the school gate in the distance, and they started talking, Lu Ting's dirty stuff. Protection fee loan shark. The younger brothers panicked, and someone whispered, "Boss, it spread on the internet, it's over." Lin Yuyen's eyes widened, her mouth opened to her chin. "Chen Feng, how did you do that?" "Amazing." Sun Wan rushed to Qin Feng, helped him up, and pressed his palms against the injured area to warm. "Qin Feng, are you okay?" "Chen Feng, thank you, this game is so powerful." Lu Ting's fists were filled with veins, but he heard the faint sound of police sirens in the distance, and his face was twisted like a ghost. Wait. I can't delete this recording, and it can't destroy me." He waved his hand and led the people to retreat in panic, staggering and trampling on the branches and leaves, leaving behind cigarette butts and the echo of panic. Chen Feng supported Qin Feng, his eyes burning with bitterness like coffee. "Brother, the first challenge is successful, secretly recording Lu Ting's black material, which has been passed on to the group. The rules of the game have been upgraded. Sun Wan, you will engrave the third article, and the alliance is established." Qin Feng spat out blood and grinned, feeling relieved in pain. "Iron-blooded. I've suppressed enough, let's play." Sun Wan's tears were still wet, and her face was flushed. "I join. For you, and for myself." Lin Yuyen wiped the blood from her knees and stared at Chen Feng with admiration. "Handsome boy, what legend do you two have during the summer vacation? Pull me in." Despair flooded Qin Feng like a tide, and his self-esteem was shattered into pieces. He wanted to yell where Chen Feng was, but he was so weak that he could only breathe. The boys around were gasping excitedly, and someone whispered, "Boss, please be patient, this kid is tough." Sun Wan's eyes were filled with tears, and she clenched her fists tremblingly. "Stop. Qin Feng, why are you protecting us?" Lin Yuyen got up, her voice trembling. "Qin Feng, you are stupid." The next morning, the sun shone dazzlingly into the classroom, and the smell of new mats was mixed with the bloody aftertaste of last night. Qin Feng's ribs were wrapped in gauze and he was sitting stiffly. Wang Hao came around and his eyes were as wide as light bulbs. "Brother Feng, the god of war in the forest last night. I listened to the recording 10 times. Little brother Lu Ting was nowhere to be seen today. The whole school said that your brother is counterattacking." The girls were stealing, and Sun Wan lowered his head to carve the table, blushing like a cloud. Suddenly, Lin Yuyen rushed into the classroom, panting, crumpling a piece of paper in her hand. "Qin Feng. Chen Feng. Big information. Lu Ting went crazy last night smashing things. There are insiders in my best friend's circle, his father is really a gangster, backdoor deal tonight. Game upgrade, candid filming." Her voice was trembling and excited, her eyes were shining like stars, the whole class looked at her, and the air boiled instantly. The four of them helped each other out of the woods, with the cool night breeze blowing on their faces and the chirping of cicadas like a celebration. Qin Feng put his arm on Chen Feng's shoulder, Sun Wan gently held his hand, as soft as honey. Lin Yuyen checked her cell phone as she walked. The whole school was blown up. Wang Hao sent a voice message. "Qin Feng is awesome, Lu Ting is miserable. The recording has over 1,000 likes." Chen Feng whispered, "It was a small victory in the first battle, but Lu Ting will not let it go, so be careful the next day." Qin Feng nodded, blood surged in his heart, friendship was locked like an iron chain, and the flame of first love was quietly burning. Chen Feng looked up from the back row, his lenses flashed coldly. Qin Feng clenched his fists, and the pain turned into motivation. "The second battle is coming." Sun Wan turned her head and smiled at him. That look was as sweet as honey, and her heart beat loudly. The students around him gasped, and Wang Hao murmured, "These people are going to turn the world upside down." A new chapter began in the bloody storm. Lin Yuyen was panting, and the gauze on her knees was bleeding. She tossed her hair, and her eyes were shining with excitement. that's right. My best friend Xiao Mei is in the basketball club, and Lu Ting is the president. Last night, insiders said that his father, an old gangster, was holding a playground club activity tonight, pretending to train, but actually collecting protection fees and loan sharks. The younger brothers are guarding the gate, the transaction money bag is huge, and the secret photography is irrefutable. Sun Wan's face turned pale, her skirt trembled slightly, she bit her lip and turned to look at Qin Feng, her eyes as moist as dew. Qin Feng, it's too dangerous, your injury is not healed yet. Her voice was soft and sinister, which made Qin Feng's heart warm, but also ignited a fighting spirit. The air in the classroom instantly solidified, the smell of glue from the new mats mixed with the sweetness of the sweet-scented osmanthus outside the window, the sunlight piercing in obliquely, lengthening the shadows of the students like ghosts. Wang Hao's fat face turned red, his mouth was wide enough to fill an egg, and he murmured in a trembling voice, "The world is going to be overturned, is it really going to be overturned?" The eyes of the whole class were like arrows, and someone's cell phone kept ringing, whispering, "Lu Ting's father's deal. Backdoor gangsters." Qin Feng's ribs ached, and the skin under the gauze was hot, but he clenched his fists and locked eyes with Lin Yuyan. Is the information accurate? Backdoor deals, what kind of club? The lunch break bell sounded as harsh as an alarm. Qin Feng reluctantly stood up, his ribs cracked, and he gritted his teeth and followed the three of them out of the classroom. Next to the playground at the back of the campus, the basketball club activity room is hidden behind the iron fence. The sunset is blood red on the ground, and the air is filled with the smell of sweat and engine oil. Lin Yuyan was exploring the way forward, with the tear in her skirt yet to be repaired and her knees limping. Xiao Mei said that Lu Ting will arrive at 6 o'clock, and Dad's men will drive a motorcycle to deliver money bags. There are 4 boys guarding the entrance of the club. Sun Wan held Qin Feng's sleeve tightly, her fingertips were cold and wet. "I'm afraid, but to get rid of him, I will go." Her breathing was rapid, her chest heaved, the arc of youth was soft and attractive in the sunset. Qin Feng's throat tightened, and he whispered, "I will protect you." Chen Feng distributed props, his old mobile phone was tied to a hidden microphone, and the picture was as clear as a surveillance camera. Lin Yuyan's pink lipstick tube had a miniature lens hidden in it. Qin Feng stuffed a flash bomb in his pocket, a homemade smoke prop for a summer coffee shop. People were crawling under the iron fence, the grass itching their skin, and the buzzing of insects covering up their heartbeats. The 4 people's eyes met, locked like an iron chain. At 6 o'clock sharp, motorcycles roared with smoke and dust, and 2 strong men with tattoos jumped off. The money bags hit the ground with a bang, and the bulging banknotes rustled against each other. Lu Ting's giant figure appeared, with bulging muscles and a hoarse voice. "Dad, have you got all the money? The grandsons of the loan sharks chased the school yesterday, and you have to pay it back today." His father smiled sinisterly, with wrinkles like knives. "Boy, the association protection fee has been increased. It will be 500 per class next month. Anyone who doesn't pay will be smashed." The recording perfectly captured Chen Feng's fingers trembling slightly and his eyes narrowed into slits. Sun Wan volunteered and swept the hem of her skirt. She walked gently around the window of the activity room, stretched the lipstick tube into the gap, and pointed the camera. Qin Feng's heart was hanging on a thread, beads of sweat slid down his back, and the saltiness seeped into his collar. Suddenly, the boy in the window turned his head and his nose twitched. "What does it smell like?" "Perfume." Sun Wan whispered. "Ah," her hand shook, and her lipstick fell to the floor with a rolling sound. The door of the activity room exploded with a bang, and the 3 younger brothers rushed out with red eyes and clenched their fists. The leader, Ran Jinmao, grinned ferociously. "The beauty of the class. The goods that Mr. Lu is eyeing will be delivered to the door." Sun Wan screamed and backed away. The hook wire at the corner of her skirt teared and split, and her white thighs flashed. In panic, she bumped into Qin Feng's arms, her soft body trembling like a rabbit. "Qin Feng, help me. Chase breaks out." The younger brothers roared like wolves. "Catch her, the boss wants her." Their footsteps thumped on the lawn, and dust flew into the air. Lin Yuyan's legs went weak and screamed, "Muan Muan. Chen Feng, hurry up." Chen Feng grabbed her arm, and the tall and thin figure dodged into the bushes. The phone was full of recordings. He ran and shouted, "Retreat. We have the evidence." Qin Feng grabbed Sun Wan's waist, and his injured ribs were like knives, but he gritted his teeth and ran. The wind whistled in his ears, and the smell of sweat mixed with the girl's body fragrance hit his nostrils. The little golden retriever accelerated and took a shortcut, and a cold light flashed in his pocket, a knife. "Young pretty boy, die." The blade pierced Sun Wan's back, and the silver light cut through the dusk. Time stands still. Qin Feng's mind flashed back to a night battle in the woods, an oath under the stars in a coffee shop, and Sun Wan's tearful smile. He pushed Sun Wan to the side and jumped on him. The blade pierced his shoulder with a pop, blood spurted hot, and the pain was like fire and shot straight through the sky. Sun Wan fell into the bushes and turned around to see what was happening. Her eyes were as wide as copper bells and she screamed heartbreakingly, "Qin Feng." No, her voice trembled into pieces, tears welled up, and she rushed to hold the wound. Her palms were stained red and sticky, and the smell of warm blood hit her nose. She choked, "Fool, why are you protecting me again? You. There's a lot of blood." Qin Feng's face turned pale, he grinned forcefully, and his teeth chattered in pain, "Iron, rules, buddy, protect your teammates. Sun Wan, just be okay." At that moment, their eyes intertwined, and they were as ambiguous as honey. She touched his cheek gently with her fingertips, her cheeks flushed, and her heart beat like a drum. The boys were stunned, their golden-haired knife hands shaking like sieves. This kid, blocking the knife? Crazy. Lin Yuyan sprang out from behind the tree, holding up her mobile phone to play the transaction sound she just recorded. "Lu Ting's dad is cheating. The whole school is in trouble." The ringtone ding-ding rang, and students in the distance watched, talking like crazy. Another black material. Qin Feng was stabbed. Chen Feng was cold laughing. He jumped forward, kicked the golden retriever, hit his knee with a knife, and his thin body exploded with fierce working force. "Get out. If the evidence spreads, you are finished." The younger brothers' faces were livid, and they looked at each other in panic. Someone whispered, "Boss, the internet is popular again, withdraw." They fled in panic, staggering and trampling on branches and leaves, leaving blood stains and cigarette butts on the ground. The four of them gasped and sat paralyzed in the grass. The afterglow of the setting sun sprinkled a pool of blood, and the air was fishy, sweet and pungent. Sun Wan tore off the hem of her skirt and wrapped it around Qin Feng's shoulders. Her movements were as gentle as playing a piano. When her fingertips slid across the skin, Qin Feng's heart skipped a beat. "Sun Wan, thank you." Her eyes were filled with tears, and her voice was soft and whimpering. "Thank you for what? You always stood in front of me and were injured for me." Qin Feng, I. Before she could finish her words, she lowered her head and leaned on his shoulder, her hair tickling her neck, and the fragrance of the girl hit her face. Lin Yuyan wiped her tears, her eyes widened in admiration. "Qin Feng, you are the god of war." The moment I blocked the knife, my heart stopped. Chen Feng, the recording was so accurate that the whole school received over 10,000 likes. Wang Hao sent a voice message, "The alliance is invincible." She checked her phone and screamed excitedly, "Sun Wan, the look in your eyes, is so ambiguous." Chen Feng helped Qin Feng stand up. His eyes behind the lenses were as deep as coffee and burning. He took out the carved wood chip from his pocket in a low voice and handed it to Sun Wan. "The second message is the beginning of a personal knot. The game has been upgraded. My dad owes not only loan sharks, but also old debts from school. Lu Ting's dad forced a relative of mine to death. Alliance, dig to the bottom." Engraved on the wood chip, "Heartache is like a knife, dad owes school debt." In the third battle, join forces to eliminate the roots. Dear brother, my heart will always be warm. Sun Wan took it, her fingertips trembling, and her voice choked when she read out, Chen Feng, you hide so deeply. Let's work together. She returned to the inside of the table, chalk flew away, and everyone's fists collided with each other, making a loud, pop sound. Chen Feng stood up slowly from the back row, his black-framed glasses reflecting the sunlight like knives. He pushed up the lenses, and his low and hoarse voice buzzed over the whole class, upgrade. The second battle, the society infiltrates and secretly records the entire transaction. Alliance operation, Sun Wan, please write back the third confirmation, Lin Yuyan will lead the intelligence. His fingers scratched lightly on the inside of the desk, and sawdust fell down. Everyone gasped. Wang Hao came closer and glared, Brother Chen, what are you carving? So handsome. The girls whispered, Sun Wan blushed on her cheeks, and quietly lowered her head to carve words on her desk. Chalk dust flew into the air, and the smell of perfume drifted faintly. As night fell, the four of them helped each other back to the dormitory area. The yellow halo of the street lights lengthened the shadows. Students on the playground in the distance kept talking, Qin Feng blocked the knife to protect the class beauty. How romantic. Chen Feng's recording exploded again, Lu Ting's club is over. Wang Hao's fat figure came out, holding a red envelope, Brother Feng. Sister Li heard that the working brother was injured, so he gave me a blood donation pack. Qin Feng couldn't bear to laugh, and the blood in her palm was as warm as honey. Lin Yuyan shouted as she walked, the first victory is the forest, the second is the club. Downstairs in the dormitory, Sun Wan stopped. The moonlight reflected her face like jade. She stood on tiptoe and touched the corner of Qin Feng's lips. She felt an electric current rush through her body, Qin Feng, thank you. I'll wait for you tomorrow. She turned around and ran, her skirt flying, leaving a wisp of fragrant wind. Qin Feng stood stunned, his heartbeat beating wildly. Chen Feng patted his shoulder and chuckled, brother, the spark of first love has been lit. Be careful, Lu Ting found out that the recording was lost. It was all an illusion. He has locked your desk. Big revenge, come. At the same time, in the activity room, Lu Ting smashed the table with his huge fist, sawdust flying with boom, and his face was twisted like a ghost, skinny monkey. Pretty boy. How did you lose the recording? Dad's wallet is empty, it's all props. The younger brother knelt down and trembled, boss, they are stealing the sky. Another day. Qin Feng's desk must be there. Lu Ting's eyes were bloodshot and he smiled ferociously, okay, in the third battle, I will smash his desk myself and carve it with blood, game over, death. The night wind roared, murderous intent filled the campus, and a bloody storm was ready to go. Early the next morning, the campus bell rang as harshly as a knife scraping iron, and the entrance to the senior high school classroom was crowded with students, whispering like a beehive, did you hear? Qin Feng's desk was smashed. It was all a pool of blood, Lu Ting did it himself. Qin Feng rubbed his eyes and pushed. As he entered the door, the air was filled with the pungent smell of freshly sawdust. Sunlight poured in through the broken window glass, illuminating his desk. No, the original desk was now the remains of a broken leg. The message board on the inside of the desk was torn into pieces, and the ground was covered with blood like fallen leaves. The wood chips were engraved with crooked bloody words, game over, die. Whoever dares to spread the secret, I will destroy their friendship. The blood dried up into dark brown, and the iron smell rushed straight into the nose. Fist marks were made on the surrounding walls, and cracks spread like spider webs. The whole class gasped, Wang Hao's fat face turned pale, his round body squeezed forward, his voice trembled like chaff, Brother Feng. Lu Ting led 5 boys into the empty classroom last night, smashed the iron rod, bang bang, shouting, you little white-faced iron buddy, destroy them all. I hid in the toilet and heard it, I was so scared that I peed. The girls screamed and covered their mouths, someone's hand the machine dinged, and the video went viral in the group. Lu Ting's giant shadow swung his stick, his muscles bulged and veins popped out, and he smiled twistedly. Qin Feng. Chen Feng. Sun Wan. Tell a secret. I'll smash the root of your friendship. The sound of the smashing was deafening, sawdust flew like rain, and when the blood was written, he bit his finger, and the blood dripped and became sticky. The younger brothers watched with red eyes and echoed, "Boss is mighty, destroy the alliance." Qin Feng's mind roared, and the knife wound on his shoulder was as hot as a soldering iron. He rushed forward to pick up the wood chips, his fingertips were sticky with blood, and his anger surged like lava. Lu Ting. My ribs are broken, but I still block the knife, and you hit my desk. Come on, head on. There was a clucking sound with his fists, his eyes were bloodshot, and the air in the classroom instantly solidified. The students took a step back, their eyes intertwined with fear and admiration. Qin Feng is going to explode. The god of war is coming again. Sun Wan jumped up from the front row, her skirt brushed against the dust on the desk. Her face turned pale, her moist eyes were filled with tears, and she threw herself into Qin Feng's arms, pressing her cold fingers on his chest. Qin Feng. Don't be impulsive, he just wants to arouse you. If you fight hard, the club's black material has been exposed, and his father is worried. Your injury. Her voice was soft and trembling, her breath was warm on her cheeks, and her youthful body fragrance mixed with blood hit her nose, which made Qin Feng's anger subside a little, and his heart felt numb. Chen Feng stood up slowly from the back row, his black-framed glasses reflecting the morning light like cold knives. He pushed the lenses, and his low voice overcame the buzzing chatter, suppressed the fire. A battle of wits, not recklessness. This is the beginning of the third battle. He locked the desk because he was afraid that the message would spread to my family. I checked last night and found that his lair was in an abandoned warehouse outside the school. The final payment was made at 10 o'clock tonight, and all Dad's men were here. The Alliance turned to a dirty trick, visit the lair at night and steal him. Dad's dead is confirmed. His fingers scratched the inside of his new desk, and everyone came closer to stare. Lin Yuyan was still limping on her knees, and her eyes were as bright as stars. Brother Chen, the intelligence is upgraded. My best friend Xiaomei said that there is a dog on the iron door of the warehouse, and the filing cabinet inside is locked 3 times, but Lu Ting's dad loves to smoke cigars, and the smell of cigarettes can be detected. She shook her hair, screaming in pain, and the gauze on her knees was bleeding. The street lights downstairs in the dormitory were buzzing, and the yellow light shone on the gauze on Qin Feng's shoulders. Dark red spots oozed from the blood, and there was a faint smell of rust. He was still immersed in the electric touch on Sun Wan's lips, his heartbeat was roaring like a war drum, and Chen Feng's low smile was still echoing in his ears. Be careful, Lu Ting has locked your desk. Big revenge, come. Qin Feng tightened his fists, and the old rib wounds and new incisions were throbbing, but he gritted his teeth and went back to the dormitory to wash up. The cool night breeze blew through the cracks in the window, mixed with the noise of the playground in the distance, and he fell asleep. In his dream, he felt the warmth of Sun Wan's tearful eyes caressing his face. The lunch break bell rang, the air loosened, and the 4 of them slipped out of the school gate. The strong scent of osmanthus on campus covered their noses with the bloody aftertaste. Lin Yuyan was scouting the road ahead, spreading rumors through mobile phone chat groups. Quick! Lu Ting's father is hiding drugs in his warehouse, and the police are on the lookout. The club boy has rebelled, and the insider has been exposed. The news was like wildfire, and ding ding resounded. Students in the playground in the distance were talking. Lu Ting is distracting. The Alliance is counterattacking. Lin Yuyan chuckled and bumped into Qin Feng's arm. It's done. The brothers are chasing the rumors, and the nest is empty. Sun Wan held Qin Feng's hand tightly, her palms were moist and warm. Qin Feng, thank you for not being impulsive. She tiptoed and touched his earlobe. I believe you. The night shrouded the abandoned warehouse area outside the school like ink, the smell of rust mixed with engine oil was pungent, and the barking, woof woof, of dogs in the distance tore through the silence. The four of them were crawling under the wall, the grass itching their skin, and the moonlight elongating their shadows like ghosts. Chen Feng divided the props. His latte art pen was modified into a miniature bugging device and hidden in a cigar box. Qin Feng had an upgraded version of the flash smoke bomb in his pocket, adding chili powder. Sun Wan's lipstick lens was extended, and Lin Yuyan's mobile phone was broadcast live remotely. Chen Feng whispered, "I will go first and follow the smell of smoke to unlock the door. You guys will take over." His tall and thin figure skimmed the wall like a shadow, falling to the ground silently, and his black clothes melted into the night. The lights in the warehouse were dim, cigar smoke filled the air, and hoarse coughs echoed. The shadow of Lu Ting's father swayed, his wrinkles were like knives, and the debt bill rustled in his hand. "Boy, we failed to increase the protection fee. Black materials are flying everywhere, and loan sharks are chasing the warehouse door. Chen Feng's father's old debts forced my brother to death back then, and now it's his son's turn." Lu Ting smashed his fist on the table. "Dad, don't worry. Qin Feng's table was smashed, the secret was broken." The motorcycles roared outside the door, and the younger brother reported, "Boss, the rumors are all over the place, are they fake?" Chen Feng's heartbeat was thunderous, and beads of sweat were dripping down his spine. His fingers trembled slightly and he stretched out the bug to capture the irrefutable evidence. Suddenly, footsteps thumped and dogs barked wildly. Lu Ting turned around with red eyes and his nose twitched. "The smell of smoke is wrong. There is someone." He grabbed the air with his big palms, exposing Chen Feng, and his black-rimmed glasses shone in the moonlight. The younger brother pounced on him, with fists and kicks raining, bang bang. Chen Feng slimmed down to dodge, and he exploded violently. He knocked the golden retriever over with his knee, and hit the nose with an elbow. Blood spurted out. "Lu Ting, your father's school enemy, my relative's murder case, and now we have the evidence." Lu Ting rushed towards him with a fierce smile, his muscles colliding. The shelf fell down with a bang, and the iron pipe rolled to the ground with a clang. "Skinny monkey. Die." Chen Feng was hit in the shoulder, the pain was like burning, and blood stained his collar, but he grabbed the debt note and stuffed it into his pocket, staggered back, opened the back window and jumped out. The night wind whistled in his ears, and the footsteps followed him like a howling wolf. The hearts of the three people outside were hanging by a thread. Sun Wan's face was pale, her skirt was trembling in the wind, and her fingertips pinched Qin Feng's arm into her flesh. "Chen Feng, he did it alone. The intelligence said it was empty, why are they all there?" Her voice trembled, her eyes widened with tears. "Qin Feng, he used me, are we? The family feud was used as a cover, and we were used as gunmen. The forest and the society were all planned by him. I was almost caught, but you blocked the knife." Misunderstanding slithered through her heart like poisonous snakes, and her pride collided. She shook off Qin Feng's hand, her chest rose and fell rapidly, and her youthful arc trembled under the moon. Qin Feng was stunned, and his anger turned to confusion. "Sun Wan, don't think about it. Brother Chen Feng Tai, have you forgotten the starry sky oath?" Lin Yuyan squatted on the ground with weak legs, and her mobile phone live broadcast shook the screen. Nwan, calm down. Brother Chen is bleeding, and the younger brother is chasing outside the warehouse. He left a clue, the wood chips fell to the ground. The grass rustled, and Chen Feng's figure jumped out. His shoulders were dripping with blood, and his lenses were skewed. He gasped and threw the three of them. The debt note was thrown out of his pocket, and the page was stained with blood, iron-proof. On the debt note, Lu Ting's father signed his signature to force the relatives to die, and all the old school accounts were recorded. Sun Wan misunderstood me. His eyes were as bitter as coffee, his voice was hoarse, and his thin chest heaved violently. Sun Wan bit her lip, her tears falling, and she rushed to tear off his skirt to wrap up his injury. "Chen Feng. I'm sorry, I'm afraid of losing everyone. Your family is hurting, and our alliance will bear it. Her fingertips trembled on his face, gently resolving the stagnant air. Qin Feng's fist Chen Feng's palms touched each other, and there was a crisp, pop sound. Brother, you are so cool alone. But next time we join forces. Lin Yuyan screamed in admiration, Chen Feng is a thief. The debt list is exposed, and the Lu family is finished. The mobile phone video has been uploaded to the group, and thousands of people are watching. Qin Feng breathed heavily and unclenched his fists. Sun Wan was still leaning against his arms. The soft arc pressed against her arms, and an ambiguous electric current coursed through her body. He looked down at her, his throat rolling. Sun Wan, you are right. But he smashed my table and carved blood letters to threaten friendship. I can't swallow it. Sun Wan raised his eyes, tears hanging from his eyelashes, and gently touched his gauze shoulder. Swallow, swallow for me. You blocked the knife last night, my heart is broken. Broken. Today, I will help you outwit her. Her fingertips felt like silk, and the girls passing by in the classroom whispered, the look in the class girl's eyes is so sad. Wang Hao slapped his hand on the table, Brother Feng is so handsome. The pursuers were approaching, with a thump of gravel, and Lu Ting roared like thunder, skinny monkey. Pay back the debt. Qin Feng pulled everyone towards the bushes, and the flash bomb exploded with a bang. White light dazzling pepper spray hit their faces. The boys coughed and rubbed their eyes. Ah! Blind! He fled in confusion, leaving bloody footprints of cigarette butts on the ground. The lights in the warehouse went out, and confetti flew in the night wind. The four people helped each other retreat. The moonlight reflected the blood shadows, and their friendship became tighter like an iron chain. Under the streetlight in the dormitory area, Chen Feng stopped, took out the last piece of wood from the depths of his pocket, and carved the words in the moonlight, my father's debt has not been wiped out yet, and Lu Ting's relatives are still hiding the shady story of the school board of directors. Tomorrow's desk, the fourth challenge, the director's office infiltrates. Dude, heartwarming escort. But I'm hiding something, my relative is either dead or missing. The clue is in Lu Ting's necklace. His eyes dimmed, and he pushed it to Qin Feng, it's worth it to be alone. But in the big crisis, Lu Ting's father joined forces with the school directors, and the revenge escalated, and the whole school locked in an alliance. Sun Wan gasped, and her fingertips trembled with the wooden pieces, missing. Chen Feng, you. Qin Feng tightened his fists, the night wind roared, and the motorcycle, boom, in the direction of the warehouse in the distance. Murderous intent came like a tide. Lu Ting tracked with red eyes, and the iron chain popped, and in the fourth battle, a storm broke out. The yellow light from the street lamp in the dormitory flickered like a will-o'-the-wisp, casting long mottled shadows on the blood-stained clothes of the four people. The smell of rust mixed with sweat hit his nostrils, and the wound on Chen Feng's shoulder oozed blood. The gauze instantly soaked and turned dark red, and dripped to the ground with a crisp sound. His thin face was as pale as paper, his black-framed glasses tilted to reflect the light, and his breathing was as heavy as a bellows, but he forced a smile to push up the glasses. Brothers. I got the debt note, the Lu family's dad signed the irrefutable signature, and the school feud is all recorded. In the fourth battle, the board of directors infiltrated, I hid the necklace clues. When the relative disappeared, the school board hid the files, and his father personally changed them. His voice was hoarse like sandpaper grinding iron, and his fingertips trembled as he handed the wood pieces, and the letters were twisted like tears under the moonlight. Sun Wan's eyes were filled with tears. The hem of her skirt had been torn into strips of cloth and wrapped around his shoulders. Her pink fingertips were stained with blood and sticky. She gently caressed his cheek and sprayed her warm breath. Chen Feng, you are stupid, fighting alone. Does it hurt? I misunderstood you, my heart is like a knife. Her voice was soft and waxy with a whimper, and the scent of youthful body fluid mixed with blood hit her nose, which made Chen Feng's throat stick, and his thin chest heaved even more. Lin Yuyan's knees were bleeding with bloodshot gauze. She limped and crouched to check her cell phone. Her round eyes widened and she screamed excitedly, "Oh my God! The live video has exceeded 1,000 likes." Wang Hao's group shouted, "Brother Chen fought bloody battles in the warehouse, and the debt sheets are bloody and invincible." The younger brothers started fighting among themselves. Lu Ting's dad was blocked at the door of the Lone Shark, and the motorcycle team broke up. She shook her hair and screamed in ecstasy. The freshman passing by under the street light stared at him, the alliance of 4 people. Lu Ting is so handsome. Qin Feng's fist clenched, the knife wound on his shoulder was as hot as a soldering iron, and the old pain in his ribs was all over the place, but he gritted his teeth and slapped Chen Feng on the back with a crisp sound. "Brother, the oath in the starry sky is true. When we were latte art in the coffee shop, you taught me to counterattack the dream. Today's bloody battle in the warehouse, you are protecting the evidence. Scan and upload the debt note, I will back up my mobile phone, and the entire dark history of Lu Ting's father will be exposed." The mobile phone in his pocket vibrated, and the group message exploded. The video of Wang Hao's fat face trembled and shouted, "Brother Feng and Brother Chen joined forces. Alliance God. Double the coupons for Sister Li's milk tea. I heard that she will fight alone in the warehouse and enjoy the coffee machine." The students gathered around under the street lights, their fat and thin faces widened in admiration. Qin Feng endured the knife injury without being impulsive, and Sun Wan's hurt eyes made the class fall. Trap. The air loosened, and the lingering scent of osmanthus covered the blood. The 4 of them took a short breath, and took inventory of the props, the battery life of the eavesdropping cigar box recording, the conversation between father and son in the lipstick camera storage warehouse, 2 flash pepper bombs left, and the blood-stained evidence on the debt note page. Qin Feng rubbed his shoulders and gasped, looking down at Sun Wan. She was still leaning against Chen Feng, her soft shoulder lines trembling under the moonlight, but she raised her eyes to him with moist eyes and said, "Qin Feng. Thank you for trusting us. What if your injury bleeds again? There are not enough gauze in the dormitory. I'll go to the infirmary to get it. You go back to the room to pack it first." Her fingertips slid against his arm, feeling like silky hot milk, and the ambiguous flames rushed through her heart, making her feel sad. Qin Feng's heart skipped a beat and his throat rolled. "Muan. Let's go together." But Chen Feng pushed him. "Go ahead, buddy, hold on. It hurts me to hide the clues from the director's office. The night my dad left home due to debt, the smell of smoke from the warehouse was his last trace." His eyes were as dark as night, and his voice was low. Passers-by Xinchen gasped when he heard this. "Dad Chen Feng. The shady story of the disappearance. The alliance is against the sky." Qin Feng nodded and turned around reluctantly. The night breeze blew his face, and the dormitory building was covered with shadows. He quickly went upstairs, the thumping of his footsteps echoed on the stairs, and a warm feeling surged in his heart. The debt was obtained, the black materials piled up, the whole school's praise exceeded 10,000, Lu Ting's club fell apart, the Lone Sharks chased the warehouse door, and the 4th battle of the board of directors was a sure win. He took out his pocket to scan the debt bill, his phone clicked, backed up to the cloud, and received the milk tea coupons with a ding. Sister Li said with a fat smile, Xiaofeng, a serious injury reward machine. The flower dream continues." He grabbed the gauze tape and went downstairs. His shoulder hurt like needles, but he fisted tightly and was excited. The repairs were completed, the props were upgraded, and the alliance was invincible. Suddenly, there was a scream and explosion under the streetlight outside the dormitory. "Chen Feng. The thin monkey pays off the debt." Lu Ting thundered like a beast, the motorcycle stopped with a boom, the iron chain hit the ground with a snap and sparks flew, the giant man with red eyes smiled ferociously and jumped out, the 5th brother swung the iron stick around, and the bloody storm exploded instantly. Chen Feng lost weight in his bodyguard, his shoulder injury burst open and blood spattered, he dodged and hit his body with a rain of fists and kicks. He gritted his teeth and knocked over his younger brother, nosebleeds splattered on the ground. Lu Ting. Your dad signed a bill to force you into debt, your relatives disappeared and the school director hid them, I have all the recordings. His voice was hoarse, his glasses shattered and fell to the ground, his thin face was streaked with blood, and the yellow light of the street lamp reflected the shadow of blood like Shura. Sun Wan screamed, her face turned pale, her skirt trembled in the wind, her fingertips pinched Lin Yuyan's arm. Chen Feng. Qin Feng, come back quickly. Her mobile phone clicked to start the live broadcast, her pink lips trembled and she looked in the mirror, watched the whole school. Lu Ting was beaten outside the dormitory. Chen Feng, a friend with an irrefutable debt record, the secret behind his father's school feud is exposed. The screen shook, Lu Ting hit Chen Feng's shoulder with his huge fist, and the bones cracked. Chen Feng knelt down and vomited blood, but the recorder in his pocket refused to let go. Dad. He left home due to loan sharks, the smell of smoke in the warehouse. Lu Ting's father changed the files, his relatives were not dead, they were kidnapped by your father's men. His voice cracked, his cheeks were stained with tears, and the family was filled with pain. The passing freshmen stared and screamed. Chen Feng's dad ran away due to debt. The secret behind his disappearance. Thousands of people were broadcast live, the police are coming. Lin Yuyan's legs were weak and she screamed, her knees were bleeding, but she threw her phone away. Nuan, hold on. The younger brother broke the stick, Brother Chen told the truth. Lu Ting panicked. Lu Ting's grin was twisted and twisted, his muscles were as bulging as pythons, and the iron chain was thrown on Chen Feng's back with a slap, and the flesh was bloody. Skinny monkey. Dad's debt? I will destroy your family's secret. Qin Feng and Sun Wan are here, and the friendship will be smashed. The rain of sticks from the younger brother fell with a ping ping. Chen Feng was slim and curled up, his blood stained the street lamp yellow, and he roared like a wolf. Dad left home, to protect me, he taught me how to be strong in latte art at the coffee shop, and now the Alliance will take care of him. Students gathered around, their fat and thin faces widened in shock. Lu Ting is a mad dog. Chen Feng kneels with blood to protect the recording. God. The mobile phone, ding ding, went viral, and the group bombarded. Brother Chen from the Alliance is secretly hurt, Dad is missing due to debt, and Lu Ting is beating him live. Qin Feng's heart was like thunder, and the gauze was thrown to the ground, and he ran over. He saw Chen Feng kneeling in blood, and the angry lava spurted. Lu Ting. I have broken ribs and shoulder blades, you are surrounded by iron brothers. He threw the flash pepper bomb and exploded with a bang, white light dazzled the fog, the younger brother coughed, red eyes and rubbed his face, blind. The two voices prove that your father's school director's shady story is known to the whole school. Sun Wan threw herself at Qin Feng's arms and shouted in tears, Qin Feng, save Chen Feng. Lu Ting's evil deeds were exposed, and the club surrounded the senior student. Lin Yuyan stood up and threw rocks. He hit his younger brother in the leg and said, ouch. The three of them worked together to protect Chen Feng. Their fists, feet, and sticks made a clang sound, and blood and sweat splattered in the nose. Passers-by shouted loudly, the god of war Qin Feng is back. The Alliance counterattacks, Lu Ting retreats. Lu Ting's nosebleed ran down his cheeks, his red eyes glared, he threw away the chain and coughed in the spicy fog, the motorcycle roared in the distance and the faint sound of loan sharks chasing him. Quickly retreat. Dad's scandal is all over the sky, the school board can't suppress it. His huge body staggered and fled in panic with the remaining soldiers, the tires squeaked and smoked, and the bloody footprints filled the air with the smell of rust. The air was stagnant under the street lamp, and the classmates gasped as they watched. Wang Hao's fat body squeezed forward and trembled with his fat hands and patted Qin Feng on the shoulder. Brother Feng is so awesome. Brother Chen is secretly sad that his father has left home due to debt. The live broadcast has exceeded 10,000 likes, public opinion has reversed, and Lu Ting's club has died. The girls screamed in admiration, Sun Wan is the queen of the live broadcast, Qin Feng protects his friends in a bloody battle, and the class star's eyes are filled with love. The four of them sat paralyzed under the street lamp, Chen Feng curled up like a bloody man, and handed the recorder to Qin Feng with a pop, his voice hoarse. "Brother, the truth about Dad, he left home to protect me because of debts, and smoked him in the warehouse for the last time." The fourth battle was all revealed, and the director's office files were found. Qin Feng tore the gauze around his back, shouted in pain and hit his fist with a pop, iron oath. "Bear the pain." Soon tears fell into Qin Feng's arms, her fingertips were cold and pressed against his chest, and her arms were soft and hot. "Qin Feng, you saved me again, and I'm here to save you. I love you, more than friendship." The corner of her lips touched his cheek, the electricity was as sweet as honey, her breath was moist, and the ambiguity of youth broke out. A passerby girl secretly said, "The beauty of the class confesses her love. Qin Feng is so sweet." Lin Yuyan's knees were bleeding, and she shouted excitedly, "It's ready." The voice of the teacher in the group, "The investigation has been started, the debt note recording has been reported, Chen Feng's family affairs have been exposed." Chen Feng's eyes flashed darkly, and his thin face froze. "Exposed? Dad's dark history of leaving home is known to the whole school, and I ruined it." The air suddenly became cold, and the warm current of friendship met with ice. The siren at the school gate loomed in the distance, and the Dean of Academic Affairs walked towards him, flashlight flashing, 4 people in the alliance. The scene of the siege, the Chen Feng family's pain spread throughout the school, the teacher checked, "The game is over. Will the truth ruin everything?" The night wind howled, the crisis was like a tide, the street light swayed and the blood shadow stretched, the fourth battle storm exploded. The dean's black leather shoes clicked through a pool of blood, and the smell of rust mixed with the night wind. The flashlight beam pierced the faces of the 4 people like sharp swords, making Qin Feng's eyes shrink. The knife wound on his shoulder was burning and throbbing, and the old rib injury made a muffled sound like a hammer. He gritted his teeth and stood in front of Chen Feng. The sticky skin of his t-shirt made a wet squeaking sound. Sun Wan's soft body was still pressed against his arm, her breath was warm and trembling, and the sweetness of her lips touching her cheeks was as sweet as honey, and it instantly froze. Lin Yuyan's knees were bloodshot and seeping through the gauze. She was limping on the ground. Her round face was pale and her glasses reflected the beam of light. The air was as stagnant as a tomb. The yellow halo of the street light stretched out the blood shadow. The police siren whined in the distance and approached. The freshmen around them secretly gasped, "The director is here. Chen Feng's family affairs have all been exposed. The game is over." The middle-aged director's face was livid, his brows were knitted into the Chinese character, Sichuan, and he pointed at Chen Feng's blood-stained thin body with a big rough hand, "Chen Feng. Your father has a dark history of leaving home because of loan sharks." The live broadcast spread to thousands of people, and the school board was furious. Dormitory sieges, warehouse night raids, club infiltration. Desk message game. The drama starts with your coffee-scented heart-shaped latte art, disrupting the school spirit, and secretly challenging it into a violent whirlpool. His voice was like thunder, spittle sprayed the light, Chen Feng curled up like a bloody man and coughed up blood, his broken glasses reflected the blood, his face was pale and twisted, and his throat rolled. He murmured, "Director, the truth about Dad is not black history, it is Lu Ting's dad who forced the school to take revenge." But before he finished speaking, the director waved his hand, "Stop. Tomorrow morning meeting, all senior students in the school will gather in the conference room, the 4 of you will be in the first row. Qin Feng, Sun Wan, Lin Yuyan, don't even think about running away, the game is over, classes are suspended for investigation." The flashlight went out, and the leather shoes turned and clicked away. The night wind roared and picked up the bloody fallen leaves. The freshman on the passerby turned pale and whispered, "The Alliance God group is in trouble, Chen Feng's father left home and was in debt. Although the school bullies scandal was exposed, is he the culprit in the game?" Qin Feng's fists were clenched and white, bloodshot knuckles oozing out, and his ribs hurt like knives, but he supported Chen Feng. Brother, hold on. I support the meeting, and I initiate the game. Sun Wan's tears fell down her pink cheeks, her cold fingertips clenched tightly on his arm, and her skirt was stained with blood and stuck to her legs. There was a thin sound, and her moist eyes were dim. Qin Feng, the teacher suspected that the message was a secret. Chen Feng's family pain is known to the whole school. He is heartbroken. How can we protect him? Lin Yuyan knelt down with weak legs, blood dripping from her knees, her round eyes were red and swollen and she trembled. Nuan, I will do it. Proof. Lu Ting was the first to attack during the live broadcast, and the bill of debt is an ironclad proof of protecting the school spirit. Chen Feng's bloody lips squirmed, his thin hand protected the recorder, his eyes were as dark as a grave. Brother, expose me, the smell of smoke from the warehouse where Dad left home, and finally protect me. The game can't stop. The third, leave a message, I'll engrave it. He was breathing like a bellows, and his figure was trembling in the night. The four of them helped each other back to the dormitory. The thumping of the stairs reverberated like a death knell, the dormitory door slammed shut, the smell of blood filled the narrow space, and the street lights outside the window flickered like will-o'-the-wisps, oppressive like the night before a landslide. At dawn, the door of the senior high school conference room creaked open, and the muggy air hit our faces filled with chalk dust and the stench of sweat. Hundreds of students filed in, with their fat and thin faces whispering. Wang Hao squeezed his fat body behind him, his round face suppressed his redness and roared, Brother Feng and Brother Chen were the gods of war yesterday, and the live broadcast reversed Lu Ting's turn. Why is the teacher summoned? The game is cold. The four of Qin Feng sat in the first row, Chen Feng's shoulders were wrapped in gauze and blood was spreading, Sun Wan's pink dress was crumpled and stained with blood, and Lin Yuyan's knees were swollen and she was leaning on the table, her round eyes scanning the entire audience nervously. The director swung his pointer and came to the podium, and the loudspeaker buzzed loudly. The desk message game started with the heart-shaped latte art on Sun Wan's table, coffee, secret challenges, night battles in the woods, club infiltration, warehouse debt bills, and dormitory sieges. Chen Feng's family's secret pain was exposed, and his father's debt and left home were exposed. Lu Ting's club spread black materials all over the sky, and the school spirit was ruined. Who started it? Qin Feng, Chen Feng, stand up. The whole audience gasped, eyes like needles piercing the backs of the four people. The boys in the back row sneered, skinny monkey Chen Feng's father is running away and in debt, and he is seeking death in this game. The girls whispered, Sun Wan's class beauty has fallen, and he is being beaten and cute on live broadcast. Qin Feng's heart was like an anvil, his shoulders were burning, his ribs were cracked, but he stood up with a snap, his voice as steady as a rock. Director, Qin Feng initiated the game. Brother Tai from the coffee shop, my son, Chen Feng, taught me how to pull flowers, and the starry sky vowed to counterattack the school bully. Leaving a message to spread campus secrets is not to cause chaos, but to expose the scandal. Lu Ting's father signed a debt note to force the school to retaliate, and the school director hid the files when his relatives were missing. We fought bloody battles to protect the evidence, not to disturb the wind. His fist hit the table with a dull thud, and the smell of blood and sweat wafted away. Chen Feng shivered slightly, his eyes flashed with gratitude, but he lowered his head. The whole place was buzzing with excitement. Wang Hao slapped the table with his fat hands and yelled, Brother Feng, stand up. Brother Chen's father is telling the truth and protecting his son, he is a game hero. But the director, Mei Feng, angrily said, stand up. Where is the evidence? The whole school knows about Chen Feng's family scandal. Classes were suspended for home visits, and the irrefutable evidence of the game was carved on the table, and all of it was dug up. Sun Wan stood up with a swish, her pink skirt trembled slightly and her moist eyes looked directly at the director. Her voice was soft but firm, Director, Sun Wan, am the first to receive it. Qin Feng carved heart-shaped latte art, which is warm and undisturbed, a symbol of friendship and passion. Yesterday's live broadcast in the dormitory, Lu Ting Chen Feng was beaten with iron chains. I saw it with my own eyes, and the debt record was recorded and reported to the police. Her fingertips slid across the back of Qin Feng's hand, and the electric current rushed through her heart. The halo of class beauty made the boys in the back row widen their eyes and swallow their saliva. Warm God escort. Qin Feng Tian. Lin Yuyan stood up with weak legs, gasping for breath due to pain in her knees, but she threw her phone and slapped the table. Information is provided by Lin Yuyan. The club sneaked into secretly photographed and traded fake money bags, and the video of the bloody battle with debt orders in the warehouse was like 10,000 times, and the whole school ID card. The game was upgraded to expose the scandal. It's not bad. The three women's voices intertwined, and the air in the conference room was loose. Wang Hao took the lead in applauding, and the freshmen's whispers turned to admiration. 4 people in the alliance can't be ruined, and Dad's counterattack is painful. The director's face was livid, the flashlight flashed in his brain, and the pointer banged on the table. Suspension of classes. The evidence will be reported to the school board. Chen Feng will provide family counseling, and new messages will be banned in the game. However, Lu Ting's dirty information was verified and the school spirit was reversed. He turned around and left with a bang, and the conference room breathed a sigh of relief. Buzzing, the freshmen gathered around Wang Hao's fat body and pushed each other. Brother Feng is standing up. Brother Sun Wan has a crisp voice. Brother Qin Chentai is so handsome. Qin Feng helped Chen Feng out. The sun was shining brightly on the stairs, the smell of sweat and blood was gradually dissipating, and the scent of osmanthus gradually dissipated. The clouds of depression lifted slightly, but the shadow in his mind was, the game continues, how to fight the third battle. During the lunch break, the classroom was empty, the sun was shining slantingly, and the dust was flying. Chen Feng held a carving knife in his thin hand and scratched the inside of Sun Wan's old desk. His shoulders were trembling with bloody scabs, and he carved a third message. Sister Wan, challenge Lu Ting to the basketball game. The school bully challenges the league and counterattacks his dream. All the best friends come together. Coffee latte art, the smell of Dad's cigarette protects me. Right back, dare you? The handwriting was twisted like tears, sawdust fell from the tip of his nose and the smell of wood was mixed with blood. He pushed the frame and whispered, Qin Feng, Dad carries history, and avenges the shame of basketball. Qin Feng guarded the goal, feeling pain in his ribs. He hummed and nodded, iron oath. Special training, I will teach you with passion. Sun Wan opened the door and her pink skirt fluttered. She read the message with flashes of water in her eyes, and her fingertips touched the words warmly. Chen Feng, dare. Lu Ting threatens to disband the club, and basketball goes against his self-esteem. Lin Yuyan wrapped an ice pack on her knees and jumped in. Match. Nwan's eyes love Qin Feng, train me with intelligence. Stadium map. At dusk on the playground, the basketball hoop is stained with rust, the sunset is blood red and elongates the shadows, and the smell of sweaty rubber hits your nostrils. Qin Feng's shoulders were wrapped in gauze while dribbling with a muffled bang-bang sound, and the pain in his ribs was like fire, but he yelled, Chen Feng. The coffee shop pulls the hand, the ball is like milk foam, don't be a coward. Chen Feng's thin body is grabbing the ball, his glasses are slippery, his nose is wet with sweat, and his shoulder injury is pulling and hissing. It was painful but he gritted his teeth and went for a layup. Whoa, he stumbled to the ground and his knees weakened. Brother. Dad left home to teach strong, let me try. But after losing 5 goals in a row, the younger brother passed by and sneered, skinny monkey owes debt monkey, basketball feeds shit. Brother Lu Ting will destroy him in a one-on-one. Chen Feng's thin face turned red and he lowered his head. The smell of sawdust was still on the tip of his nose, and his pride was like a knife. Sun Wan felt distressed and threw the ball at him. Qin Feng taught you to be passionate, not to laugh. Qin Feng's knee passed the ball with a crisp sound, and hot sweat sprayed on his face. Brother Tai. You guys, the starry sky is reversed. He dribbled the ball like a twirl, and shot a heart-shaped arc. He demonstrated a layup, and the sunset reflected the golden light, and the younger brother stared at him and said, Qin Feng is hurting his body, but he still shoots like a god in the league. After training for days, the night lights on the playground were buzzing and the rubber was squeaking. Chen Feng fell to the ground with cramps. Sweat and blood mixed with the gauze and oozed out. He was panting like a dog. Qin Feng. I'm useless. My dad is a drag on history. Losing the game will destroy the league. She was soft, but her eyes turned to Qin Feng's watery eyes. Qin Feng, you teach me to be passionate, and my heart beats wildly. Her body was close to her, her youthful body fragrance mixed with sweat hit her nose, her pink lips were slightly open ambiguously. Lin Yuyan flicked the towel and patted Sun Wan's buttocks, round eyes blinked, Wan has fallen. Qin Feng protects Chen Feng with his eyes, sweet as hell, the match is successful. The passing freshman stared round, the beauty of the class is in his arms. The training tacit understanding, Chen Feng's thin monkey hit 3. Lu Ting is dominating the ball. The misunderstanding was gradually solved, the team's tacit understanding was as strong as iron, and the passing of the ball was like a heartbeat. Chen Feng's eyes lit up behind his glasses, brother. Dad can't be ruined by being exposed, and basketball will avenge his shame. Qin Feng smiled and bumped his fist, invincible. Sun Wan's lips touched Qin Feng's ear sweetly, you are so hot in training, I'm all in. Lin Yuyan responded, tomorrow night, Lu Ting is locked in a one-on-one match. But on the eve of the game, the girls' dormitory was full of shadows, the moon was dark and the wind was high, and Sun Wan was walking back to her room alone, and her phone rang with an anonymous message, beauty of the class, you dare to play basketball. If you don't come, I will serve you with iron chains. Her face turned pale, her fingertips were trembling, and her heartbeat was beating like a drum. A motorcycle roared in the distance, Lu Ting's huge shadow loomed, and the iron chain swung against the wall with sparks flying. Chen Feng's thin body flashed out of the dormitory and rushed towards the shadow alone. The moonlight reflected in his glasses, Lu Ting. Threatening Sun Wan. The thin monkey is carrying it alone. Dad owes you dad. Wait until the game is over. The night wind roared, and the crisis broke out again. On the eve of the basketball counterattack, the blood shadow lengthened and the storm hit. The moon is dark and the wind is high, the shadows of the girls' dormitory buildings are like ghosts, the street lights are dim and smudged on the iron fence, the roar of motorcycles is ear-splitting, the iron chains are swinging against the wall and sparks are flying, and the pungent smell of burning is mixed with the night wind. Sun Wan's face was as white as paper, her phone was vibrating with dings, and anonymous messages were like poisonous snakes, beauty of the class, get out of the basketball game. If you don't obey, the chains will serve your pink legs. Her fingertips were cold and trembling, her skirt was rolled up by the wind and made a soft, hula, sound, her heartbeat was like a drum hitting her chest, the sweet words in Qin Feng's ears during training were still echoing, and the sweet current instantly froze into ice slag. In the shadow of the stairway, Lu Ting's giant body was pressing down on him like a mountain. His nosebleeds were left in a wolfish state. His thick arms and muscles were bulging, and the iron chains around his wrists were clinking. He smiled cruelly and showed his yellow teeth, class beauty, skinny monkey Chen Feng's father owes my father a debt. He transferred to another school to avoid debts. He ruined my club through games. Now the iron chains will break your legs. Chen Feng's thin body flashed out of the dark corner of the dormitory, his glasses reflected the shattered light of the moonlight, the blood-crusted gauze on his shoulders was red, and the smell of sawdust was still mixed with the smell of sweat on the tip of his nose. His throat rolled and he roared, Lu Ting. Threatening Sun Wan. Your father is a debtor, your father is a loan shark, I transferred to another school to hide from the debtors, my father protected me from the smell of cigarette smoke in the warehouse, and the thin monkey carried it alone, I will destroy you in the ball game. Self-respect. His thin legs trembled slightly, his fists turned white when pinched, old wounds on his knuckles were cracked and blood dripped on the concrete floor. The night wind filled his sleeves as cold as a knife, and his heart was churning. Dad's dark history of leaving home was exposed. He transferred to school to be a debt evader, but the game revealed the truth. Brother Qin Feng was passionate about coaching football. How could I let Sister Nguyen fall into this trap? Kill him with a single shot and avenge your father's strong cigarette smell. But Lu Ting laughed like thunder, and the iron chain shook the air with a loud bang, and the hot wind brushed Chen Feng's ears and burned his skin. Hide from the debt monkey. My father signed the debt and became a feud with the school. My father is chasing your family. The loser who transferred to another school wants to rebel in basketball. Kneel down and delete the message, I'll forgive you. Chen Feng's thin face is distorted and pale, his pupils are shrunken behind his glasses, his knees are cramped and the old pain is like fire. His father's figure in the warehouse is flashing in his mind to protect him from smog. He transfers to another school in tears and the night train shakes and the debtors are chasing him. His heart is like an iron chain. I am a loser. I dreamed of teaching Qin Feng, but I am dragging down the league. My father's evil history has ruined my self-esteem. Now I can protect Sister Nguyen alone. It is worth losing and ruining my dream. He gritted his teeth and pounced, hitting Lu Ting's chest with his thin fist, which made a dull sound like a stone, but was slapped away by a giant palm, and the rolling cement hit the wall with a gulu. The smell of blood filled his mouth and nose, and the iron chain was raised high and pressed against the top. Girls passing by screamed and whispered. Chen Feng, a thin monkey, single-handedly attacks the school bully. Dad's debt is transferred to another school to hide from ghosts. The hero is ruined. Qin Feng's heart was pounding like a deer. After training, the gatekeeper noticed that Chen Feng was slipping away. His ribs were cracked and painful, and his shoulders were stabbing like stabbing wounds. However, he slammed the door and rushed out. The night wind hit his face with the smell of sweat mixed with the lingering fragrance of osmanthus. Lightning flashed in his mind. Brother, can you carry it alone? I know the knot in my heart when my dad transfers to another school. You vows to protect each other under the stars. Lu Ting threatens Sister Nguyen with his iron chain. His self-esteem collides and explodes, and he must not let the thin monkey be destroyed. He shouted at Sun Nguyen and Lin Yuyen. Sister Nguyen Yuyen, the dark shadow in the dormitory building. Chen Feng single shot, come quickly. He ran with a thump in his footsteps. The smell of rubber on the playground was still on the tip of his nose, and his blood was boiling in his fists. Rescue plan, outwit the evil move, counterattack the ball game. Sun Wan's pink skirt fluttered and she hooped to catch up. Her moist eyes flashed with panicked tears. Her fingertips clenched Qin Feng's arm flesh. Her body temperature current was running through her heart, but it was cold. Qin Feng, the message is on the chain. My legs are weak. Why is Chen Feng carrying it alone? My father transferred from debt to another school. He hid his heartache. We misunderstood. Lin Yuyen limped with swollen knees, and through the ice pack on the ground. Pop, the cell phone flashed with round eyes. Nguyen. I have the hidden video. The society sneaked in to secretly film Lu Ting's father's debtor transaction. Now upload it to counterattack. Chen Feng slim monkey protects you, hero. The shadows of the three people shot at the dormitory building like arrows. The street lights stretched the blood shadows, and the freshmen in the distance whispered and gasped. The Alliance God group is fighting again. Qin Feng is hurting his body and leading the team, and the class beauty is in panic. Lu Ting's iron chain smashed down and the cement cracked. Chen Feng's thin body flashed. Gulu, his glasses broke and nosebleeds spurted out. Puff, and he breathed like bellows. Lu Ting. Dad's cigarette smoke warehouse protected me when I transferred to another school to avoid debts. Your dad signed a fake bill and hid it with the school director, and the game was exposed without kneeling. Self-esteem was like a knife, and he climbed up on his thin legs and trembled and fluttered again. The figure of his father was blurred in the smoke ring in his mind. On the night of transferring to another school, I swear to be strong, and the coffee latte art dream of Qin Feng, the thin monkey is not useless. Lu Ting grinned ferociously and strangled his neck with his giant palm, making a crack of bones. it's useless to hide from debts. The transfer dog still protects the class girl. The chain broke his neck. The smell of rust hit his nostrils, Chen Feng's vision went black, and his heart collapsed. Destroy it, protect the value of the alliance. Stop. Qin Feng's roar was like thunder in the night, and his shoulder hit Lu Ting's waist with a loud bang. His ribs hurt like an axe, but they were wrapped around him. His t-shirt was sticky with blood and sweat and was squeaking, slippery. My dear brother, it hurts to carry my dad alone when he transfers to another school. I, Qin Feng, can't bear it. Lu Ting, you are threatening Sister Nguyen with a dirty trick, and I will destroy you in a duel in the game. Sun Nguyen put on her pink arms and hugged Chen Feng's thin waist. Her body fragrance was mixed with blood, and her eyes were watery. The question pierced the heart, Chen Feng, why did you go it alone? My father transferred to another school to hide from ghosts. You are hiding us in your heart. We are passionate friends in games, but you misunderstand my self-esteem all by yourself. I really mean it. Her fingertips caressed his bloody face with warmth, her pink lips trembled with an ambiguous electric current, youthful hormones exploded, and her heart was sour. I was training to love Qin Feng Tian, but he protected me but questioned me. Brother Tai was deeply bound and my self-esteem was hurt. Chen Feng's thin body fell to Su Nuanhuai, tears reflected in the fragments of his glasses, his throat was choked and he coughed up blood, gurgling, Sister Nguyen. My father ran away from home due to debts and went to the warehouse to protect me. I transferred to another school to hide from the debtors. I left a message in the game to express my heartache. I'm afraid it will drag you down. Destroy the respect. Brother Qin Feng Tai teaches football with passion. I can avenge my father's strong will alone. I don't want to misunderstand that the alliance is broken. Tears rolled down my face with blood, and my heart burst like a torrent. A lone wolf who transferred to another school, met Qin Feng Meng over coffee, and now it's revealed that the four of them had a deep talk about reconciliation. Lin Yuyen knelt down with pain in her knees and popped, her round eyes were red and swollen, and she buzzed her mobile phone to upload, Chen Feng. Hidden video of club transactions, Lu Ting's father's debtor fake school director profile. Today's live broadcast is watched by thousands of people, counter-killing the ball game. Nguyen asked to wake him up, Alliance Iron. The freshmen gathered around and gasped. Chen Feng's father transferred to another school, the heartache was revealed. Qin Feng hit the waist to save the god, Sun Nguyen hugged and questioned the sweet abuse. Lin Yuyen's video is heaven-defying. Lu Ting's huge body staggered back, the iron chain clinked to the ground and sparks were left, the nosebleed and the old wound were cracked and cracked, his face was livid and twisted with a ferocious smile. Video. My dad is chasing the monkey family for debt, and the league is destroyed by a dirty trick in the football game. But the whole school's mobile phones vibrated and buzzed, and the video pop-up window, the club fake money bag transaction. The loan shark forced the school to take revenge, the freshman whispered, Lu Ting's dad is evil. Chen Feng transfers to school to protect his dad, the truth is the hero, Qin Feng rescues handsome. Lu Ting's motorcycle boomed and fled, the night wind swept away the bloody leaves. Qin Feng helped Chen Feng up, his fists and palms popped, his ribs hurt, but he smiled, Brother Tai, the knot in my heart is reconciled. Dad's smoke is strong, you are stronger. The game is like a chess game in the heart, the secret moves are overwhelming, the heartache of transferring to the school is sublimated, and the morale is reversed, and the training iron tacitly destroys him. The four of them helped each other back to the playground, with the night light buzzing and illuminating the rusty shadow of the basket rack, and the smell of rubber and sweat assaulting their nostrils. Sun Nguyen's pink skirt stuck to Qin Feng's arm, and the corners of her lips touched her ears sweetly. Qin Feng, rescue the hot blood, and I will give you all my heart. Chen Feng asked to clear up the misunderstanding, and I like this alliance. The ambiguity of the current flowed through him, and his youthful self-esteem collided with honey. Chen Feng wiped the blood with his thin hands, and his eyes were as bright as stars. Brothers. I transferred to another school to hide as a debtor, and if I don't destroy it now, my dad is heartbroken about snow basketball. Lin Yuyan blinked her eyes and shook the towel, snapping the crowd. The video has been liked a lot, and the whole school worships the gods. Tomorrow night, Lu Ting's secret move is locked, I'll keep an eye on the information. Wang Hao rushed over after hearing the news, his round face turned red and shouted, Brother Feng and Brother Chen are rescuing the live broadcast. The heartache of the transfer is coming, Sun Wan's embrace is sweet, please give me milk tea, morale is high. On the playground at dawn, the mist was lingering and the fragrance of osmanthus was fragrant. The bang-bang of the basketball was continuous. Qin Feng reluctantly demonstrated the swish hollow arc shot. The golden light of the sweat dropped as the sunset faded. He shouted, Chen Feng. Turn to the school to untie the knot, pull the ball spinner, and the layup is heart-shaped in reverse. Chen Feng grabbed the ball with a thin body, the new frame of his glasses flashed, and his shoulder injury pulled his, but he missed the ball. 3. Swish, the landing was as solid as iron. The younger brother passed by and stared blankly, skinny monkey transfer school hero throws himself into the gods. The video destroys Dad Lu's black, the alliance is invincible. Sun Wan handed over the water and gently slid her palms with her hands, her watery eyes locked on Qin Feng, the training is over, my morale is high, you protect my heartbeat forever. Lin Yuyan jumped on the ice pack on her knees, the intelligence trick is here. The court is locked. On the way back to school, Sun Wan leaned on Chen Feng's shoulder, her voice soft and guilt-ridden, Chen Feng, the third message, I will reply, misunderstanding hurts, friendship is deep. The fourth battle, eradicate the root. She lowered her head and carved words in her palms, the chalk flew away, and everyone felt warm. Qin Feng laughed in pain, his shoulder injury was bloody and pungent, Lu Ting, you smashed the table. I destroyed the table, but my heart will never die. Lin Yuyan checked her cell phone and shouted excitedly, group explosion. Chen Feng fights alone in the warehouse, the debt list is bloody. Alliance God Wang Hao's voice, Brother Feng and Brother Chen are invincible, and sisterly rewards milk tea coupons. The entire playground was boiling like a volcano, the cheers were like thunder, the smell of sweat mixed with burnt rubber hit your nostrils, the basketball bounced to the ground with a crisp and heart-piercing sound, and the dazzling sunlight fell on the rusty basket frame, elongating the giant's shadow like a devil's claw. Chen Feng's thin body hit the rubber floor with a bang, the old injured shoulder bone clucked and cracked with pain like fire, the old nosebleed scab spurted red, the ball rolled, Golu, far away, the new frames of his glasses were crooked and sparkled, his throat was choked with sobs and he was panting like a broken bellows, Lu, is pushing me in the dark. My father is strong and I am strong, and I won't kneel during the game. The freshmen in the school gasped, and a flood of whispers exploded, the skinny monkey transferred to the school to hide from the dead dog, and fell down at the kickoff. The dream of the hero in the video is shattered, Lu Ting is invincible. Wang Hao squeezed into the front row, his round face flushed and shouted, Brother Chen. The alliance's morale is ruined. Sun Wan's eyes widened with tears, and her fingertips pinched Lin Yuyan's flesh with white marks, Yuyan. Chen Feng's old injury relapsed, what about Qin Feng's misunderstanding? The referee's whistle, beep, sharply pierced the air, his short and fat body dodged his eyes, Lu Ting's huge palm secretly filled the banknotes with a rustling sound, he smiled cruelly, showing his yellow teeth, there was a faint ding in his chain sleeves, and his nose was bleeding and scabbed, but he was angry. Yen soared to the sky, hide the debt monkey, I will buy the referee, and the tripper will serve you. Dad's debt scandal. I will break the legs of your alliance now. His huge body was crushed like a tank, his thick arm muscles bulged to grab the ball with a bang, and his knees secretly tripped Qin Feng. There was a muffled pop sound in his legs, Qin Feng's ribs were cracked and hurt like an axe, and his shoulder was stabbed with thread stabbing his heart, but he gritted his teeth and steadied himself and growled, Brother Tai, endure. Outweak the dirty tricks and carry the whole audience. Lin Yuyan's knees were swollen and the ice pack was thrown, pop, on the sideline, the round-eyed red and swollen mobile phone was buzzing with information. Nuan. I refilmed the video of the referee collecting illegal money. Lu Ting stumbled and locked the three-point line, but Qin Feng was seriously injured and Chen Feng fell to the ground. The alliance was in despair. The electronic scoreboard was Didi. Lu Ting's team was leading 5 o'clock, the big palm, schwa, dunked the shock frame, boom, the iron chain sleeve slid, ding, and sparks wiped the floor. The audience screamed in admiration, the school bully is invincible. The skinny monkey loser turned to the school dog, Qin Feng's rescue was in vain. Chen Feng suffered from the old pain of cramping in his slim legs. When he got up, his knees were clucking and his bones were dislocated. The smell of smoke from his father's warehouse lingered at the tip of his nose. Sun Wan rushed to the sideline and waved her pink arms, her hydrated lips trembling, and shouted, "Chen Fengqi. Dad is heartbroken, we understand, the alliance will not be destroyed." But Lu Ting laughed loudly and thundered, the referee dodged his eyes and called Qin Feng for a foul. The whole audience was ridiculed like a rain of needles. Shentuan United Alliance. Hiding the dead monkey plus wounded soldier Qin, the class beauty shouts that he is broken. The counterattack is shattered. Qin Feng's fists turned white, blood dripped from the rubber, and the blood surged like lava. Go to the bottom, hit the sky, carry him. Qin Feng grabbed the ball with a pop, his tall and thin body ran like an arrow, his ribs were burning with pain, but his footsteps were thumping, ghostly, sweat beads splashed with golden light and shattered, and the smell of rubber permeated the air. He shouted at Chen Feng, "Brother Tai, cover Dad." Chen Feng gritted his teeth and pushed himself up, his thin legs trembling, and rushed forward. Blood seeped through the gauze cloth and the red spots on his shoulders expanded, and Lu Ting's huge body hit the ground with a bang. A student passed by with wide eyes and a cold look. Skinny monkey still attacks with an old injury. The hero is not dead, Qin Feng is the master of stealing the ball. Qin Feng was outside the three-point line at the top of the arc, and his shoulder was pulled and hissed with bloodshot blood, and his t-shirt was wet and red. He deeply inhaled the residual fragrance of osmanthus and mixed with sweat, his pupils were locked in the rust of the basket, and his mind flashed and the stars swore, brother-in-law protects each other. Sister Nuan is in a state of confusion. Lu Ting's moves are overwhelming, today's trump card is exploding. The ball whirled with his fingers, and the latte art coffee spun like a star. He jumped up and stretched his body to the limit, his ribs cracked with a groan, the ball came out of his hand and drew a perfect arc, and the hollow ball entered the net with a crisp, swipe sound, and the whole audience was silent for a moment. Whoa! Qin Feng's three-point shot. Wang Hao waved his fat arms high and his round face twisted and roared, his voice trembling and cracked, rescuing the hot-blooded carry, the wounded soldiers are incredible. Lu Ting's face turned green. The freshmen gathered around with eyes wide open, and the girls screamed and whispered, Qin Feng's t-shirt with blood on his shoulders and erythema is still atop of the arp kill. The latte art spin ball is so cool, and her self-esteem collides with Sister Nuan's tearful eyes. Su Nuanshui locked eyes with Qin Feng's figure, her pink face flushed and her heart beating like a deer, her skirt curled up against her legs, and her fingertips caressed her lips unconsciously, and electricity flowed through her body. He is training his lips and ears to whisper sweet words, he protects me, and today he carries his blood deeply. The score was tied at 3-5. Lu Ting's giant face was livid and twisted, his chain sleeves jingled, and his ferocious smile turned into a roar, skinny monkey covering. The referee tripped him. The short and fat referee dodged his eyes, and his whistle, beep, called Chen Feng's wrong move. The audience gasped and pressed again, shameless bribery. Is the alliance desperate again? Lin Yuyen's round-eyed fire-breathing mobile phone clicked and uploaded a supplementary video, Nuan. The referee's black money is broadcast live, and thousands of people used the blame to fight back. In the second half, the sun was scorching, and the playground was steaming with sweat. Lu Ting's huge body dunked 2 goals in a row and shook the ground. The iron chain secretly hit Qin Feng's ankle and sparked sparks. Qin Feng staggered and hit the rubber with his knees. His ribs cracked and hurt like a hammer hitting his heart. His blood and sweat stuck to his t-shirt and dripped. He gasped and his throat was salty. The lower you press it, the better, all your trump cards are open. Chen Feng's thin body rushed back to cover, the fire behind his glasses was holding up the old injury, and the smell of Dad's cigarette was turning into fuel. Brother, carry me with you. Qin Feng stood up and roared, Sister Nguyen, look at it, your pride is rebellious. He dribbled the ball with ghost steps and, snap, shook off Lu Ting's huge palm, the hot wind wiped his face, jumped up on the lever for a layup, swish, changed direction, the ball board bounced into the swipe, the landing was as solid as iron, and the blood on his shoulder expanded and the red flowers bloomed. The freshmen in the audience trembled in whispers. Qin Feng's bloody carry hit him repeatedly. Lu Ting's tripping leg failed, and he used his magical skill to pull flowers into a dream. Soon Wan bit her lips, her fingertips clenched tightly on the railing, and her heart felt ambiguous and sour. He endured the pain, his heart sank, and his youthful hormones burned like fire. The score was tight at 12-14. Lu Ting increased the pressure with a grim smile and bribed the referee to call Qin Feng a fake kick. Beep, 3 fouls and you will be dismissed. The whole audience was in despair. God's carry is broken. The alliance is broken. The monkey dad who transferred to another school lost his self-esteem, but the school bully won. Wang Hao's round face burst into tears and he shouted, Brother Feng, please. A sinister move against the sky. Chen Feng's skinny legs trembled to fight for the ball. An old injury recurred and his knees gave out. Lu Ting held up the iron chain with his big palm and buzzed to suppress the threat. A dog hiding from debts, Daddy admits it. Kneel down and delete the message. Qin Feng roared from the sideline, Brother Tai, get up. In the last 30 seconds, 3 points. He rushed forward against the rules, his ribs were broken and hurt, his vision was black, the smell of sweat and blood hit his nose, he grabbed the ball with a crisp snap, and spun at the top of the arc. The audience was in a panic. The freshmen stared and swallowed cold air and trembled. Qin Feng still rushes when he is full. Fighting to the death, Lu Ting's iron chain is cold. In the last 3 minutes, Qin Feng's body stretched to the limit, blood spurted out from the knife wound on his shoulder and his t-shirt was stained red like a flag, and his ribs hurt like thousands of needles piercing his lungs. His mind flashed to coffee encounters with Chen Feng, making smiles, the stars protecting each other's oaths, Sun Wan's lips and ears having electricity, and Dad Yanqiang avenging shame. The fingers buzz to spin the ball to the extreme, the dreamy shadow of latte art spins the sun and breaks gold, and jumps up. Lu Ting hit the air with his huge palm and the hot wind burned his skin. The referee blew the whistle late, and the ball made a perfect arc whoosh. The score was 15-14, and the ding bell pierced the sky. There was a moment of dead silence in the audience, and a tsunami of cheers erupted, waving flags and screaming deafeningly, Qin Feng's 3-point kill. The alliance went against the grain, and Lu Ting was disgraced. Wang Hao's fat body jumped up, his round face distorted and he shouted in tears, Carry, the whole game will be bloody, your handsomeness will be passed down forever. The eyes of the new girl admired the mist, the arc of blood hurts, the passion of youth falls, and the self-esteem counterattacks the dream. Sun Wan's pink skirt fluttered and she rushed onto the stage, her eyes sparkling with tears, her fingertips touching Qin Feng's bloody face to feel warm, her pink arms tightly wrapped around her waist and electric currents flowing, her lips touching her ears and whispering, Qin Feng, carry the alliance to protect you, my heart will be broken for you forever, I like this blood. The ambiguous hormones are like honey burning the heart, and the collision of self-esteem turns into sweet abuse. Chen Feng's thin body is propped up, his glasses are shining with tears, and his fist touches Qin Feng's palm with a loud pop, Brother Tai. Dad is strong and I am strong, I will avenge my shame. Lin Yuyan ran wildly with her knees swollen and threw her towel to take pictures of the crowd. Her round eyes were red and swollen and she smiled tremblingly, the referee's video has received thousands of likes. The entire school is accused of slandering Lu Ting. He is a legend in the league. Lu Ting's huge body collapsed on the ground, the chain clinked and sparks fell to the ground, his nosebleed cracked and dripped, his face turned gray and he collapsed with a grin. Video. Dad admits part of the loan sharking, fake school director, my dad is wrong, loses the ball game, kneeling down with a dirty trick. The whole school whispered, the school bully bows his head. The gods are invincible. Night fell at the desk, with the smell of rubber and sweat lingering in his nose. Chen Feng's carving knife squeaked and wood chips flew away. The message was updated to the third message, Sister Nguyen Qin Feng, the truth about Dad's cigarette warehouse being transferred to school to avoid debts cannot be ruined. Today's counterattack dream comes true. The ultimate secret of the family, Dad is back, the debtor ghost is chasing the school gate, and the alliance protects my family. Qin Feng read the article with enthusiasm, Su Nuanshui locked eyes with him and panicked, and Lin Yuyan's intelligence flashed, the creditor's film school is locked. Wang Hao handed over the milk tea, Gulu, with a round-faced admiration, Brother Feng, Brother Chen, Dad will fight again in crisis, God League Iron. The shadow of the school gate in the distance, the figure of a man smelling of smoke flashes vaguely, the lone shark ghost faintly roars, and the crisis is looming, the heartache of transferring to another school is not over, the ultimate storm breaks out. Youthful friendship and love are burning, and the blood is undying. The night wind was like a knife blowing through the iron gate of the school gate with a squeaking sound, the rotten tobacco mixed with the roar of the lone shark ghost exploded into the night sky, the blurred figure of a man staggered out of the shadow, Chen Feng's dad, the smoky yellow face in the warehouse was wrinkled like old tree bark, his eyes were bloodshot and bursting with the smell of alcohol, and the cuffs of his tattered shirt were stained with blood. I still haven't paid off my gambling debt, and the creditor is chasing the school to chop me off. Transfer to another school and hide. Dad's warehouse protects you to avenge your shameful dream, and the whole school is laughing now. The whole class of freshmen gathered around the playground and whispered, their eyes widened and they swallowed cold air and trembled, the skinny monkey dad who transferred to another school is a gambler. The message about Dad Chang's revenge is fake, the lone shark school gate is crying like a ghost, and the God League is ruined. Wang Hao's fat body squeezed the milk tea in front of him with a round face and a pale face. The sound of broken glass fell to the ground, and his voice trembled like a leaf, Brother Chen. The creditor's iron rod is cold, Qin Feng's bloody carry is in vain. Chen Feng's thin body hit the desk with a bang and sawdust flew up. His pupils were shrunken and stung by needles behind his glasses. His nosebleed scabs cracked and dripped red spots on the textbook. The smell of his father's cigarette was like an iron chain around his throat. His old knee injury clucked and throbbed with pain. He couldn't support it. His throat was choked with sobs and he growled, Dad. I worked to pay back the money by latte art, and my self-esteem did not kneel when I transferred to another school. Now my creditor is exposed to the school gate, and everything is ruined. Sun Wan's pink skirt and night breeze clung to her legs, her watery eyes glittered with tears and she bit her pink lips, her fingertips unconsciously pinched Lin Yuyan's arm flesh and, squeaked, white marks, Yuyan. Chen Feng's father has a gambling debt, Qin Feng is passionate about protecting the alliance, his youthful misunderstanding and self-esteem are shattered, what should we do? Lin Yuyan's eyes were red and swollen, her cell phone was buzzing with information, her hands and knees were swollen and aching, and her voice was trembling, Nguyen. The creditor's video was locked, Lu Ting's father helped him with the loan shark's fake loan, and the school bully secretly let the school gate be suppressed. Outside the iron gate of the school, 5 or 6 strong loan sharks hit the ground with their iron bars and sparks flew. The pungent smell of wine and sweat hit their faces. The leader, with a scarred face and a sinister smile showing his black teeth, quacked like a wolf, Mr. Chen gambles with dogs, and his son transfers to another school to avoid debts. I chopped my legs off at the school gate to pay my debt. Chen Feng's father staggered to the ground and hit the cement with his knees, making a muffled sound. His bloody hand grasped the fence and creaked, and his roar was hoarse and broken. Son. I'm wrong, the smoke in the warehouse protects you, so you can avenge your shame. Passers-by in the school gasped and whispered, Skinny Monkey's father is exposed as a gambler. The lone shark's iron stick to the school gate, the friendship of Brother Tai is broken. Qin Feng's three-pointer kills the blood. Shadows flickered, the iron chain sleeves jingled, and he smiled twistedly. His father secretly helped the creditors with clues about loan sharks. His nose was bleeding and his gray face suppressed the fire of revenge. God group carry. My father is letting ghosts on the debt lines to destroy your self-esteem. Qin Feng's shoulder knife wound, the blood scab pulled and stung, his ribs were shattered and the black edge of his vision was shaking, his tall and thin body slapped the desk with a deafening sound, the sweat and blood on his t-shirt was dry and salty in the night wind, his pupils were locked on the school gate and a ghostly figure roared, Brother, Iron. Dad's crisis is at the bottom, and the whole class is mobilizing to defy the odds. But all the freshmen in the class whispered to Jinyu, the injured soldier Qin Feng. The lone shark is invincible, and the dream of the gods is broken. Her round face burst into tears, her fat arms waved and she yelled, Brother Feng, the laughing stock of the whole class is hiding from debts, how can we mobilize him? Chen Feng's skinny legs trembled and he threw himself at his father's figure, his glasses were shattered and his eyes burst into tears, Brother. Dad's dream of paying back the money was ruined, and his self-esteem was destroyed as a lone wolf when he transferred to another school. Su Nuanshui locked eyes with Qin Feng in panic, her pink face was flushed and her heartbeat was pounding. She touched his bloody arms with her fingertips and whispered warmly, Qin Feng is hot-blooded and confused. Dad is in danger and we are in deep trouble. The hormones of youth are so sweet. Depression was like a black cloud, the lone shark roared and smashed the fence with sparks flying, Chen Feng's father's bloody hand released and popped and fell to the ground twitching, the smell of smoke and blood filled the night sky, the whole school exploded in despair, Dad, chop off the leg for debt. The alliance is destroyed. Qin Feng's fists clenched and turned white, blood droplets on his knuckles, clacked, on the desk, the brain flashed coffee latte art, Brother Tai swears, Su Nuanmi's ear likes it, 3-point blood spurts kill, and Dad smokes to avenge his shame. He jumped up on the desk and his tall and thin figure stretched like a sword. The lava in his throat surged and roared, listen to the whole class. Brother Chen Fengtai played tricks during the summer vacation to pay off his father's debt. He transferred to another school to hide from the debt to protect his self-esteem. He left a message saying that he was heartbroken and could not kneel down. Lu Tingyin provoked a push to buy the ball and lost the game. Today's father debt ghosts are suppressing me, Qin Feng mobilizes you to raise money to protect the family, the power of friendship is overwhelming. The voice echoed like thunder in the night sky, and the golden light of sweat splashed into pieces, but the freshman whispered, who dares to speak with the iron rod of lone shark? Suddenly, Wang Hao's fat body jumped up and his round face twisted and roared, Brother Feng Tai. Brother Chen's father owed me money for milk tea, the god of the whole class alliance. His voice trembled and broken, his eyes stared out of frame in admiration, and his fat arms were swung high and hit the ground with a pop sound. The freshman gasped and whispered, Fat man shouting God. Qin Feng's hot blood is contagious. Sun Wan's pink skirt fluttered and she rushed forward, her watery eyes sparkling with tears, her pink arms waving and shouting, Sisters. Chen Feng's father is strong in his youth and self-esteem, and he is the leader of the fundraising class. Lin Yuyan rushed to the phone and shouted, Muan, follow me. Lu Ting's father's loan sharks are exposed to the media, and the creditor's scandal is overwhelming. The eyes of the new students turned into a roar, Qin Feng mobilizes the gods to protect the family, and the father's debt is counterattacked. The fundraising storm broke out, Su Nuanshui moistened her lips and talked sweetly, the night wind in her pink skirt wrapped around her legs, and the current was in a state of confusion. The red packet, Sha, was handed to her fingertips and the Didi of the mobile phone payment was ringing. The freshman girls screamed in admiration, the class spent 1,000 yuan. Sister Nguyen sweetly protects the alliance, Qin Feng's hot-blooded fall handsome. The boys were all fat and thin, and Wang Hao's round face was full of sweat. Gulu scanned the code and yelled, thousands of people donated. Brother Chen's father Yen Chang didn't kneel down. Lin Yuyen's live broadcast of the creditor's ghost was buzzing, and she contacted the media to expose it. Lu Ting's father loaned money to the school, and the fake school director was blacklisted. The whole network was trembling, Lin Yuyen's divine help. The school bully's father's scandal collapsed. In front of the school gate at the climax, Qin Feng blocked his father's figure with his shoulder blood seeping red like a flag on his t-shirt, and his ribs were burning with pain, and he shouted in his heart, the debtor, Chen Feng's father has paid off the debt, and the entire class of the alliance has received the money. The loan shark's scar-faced iron rod was raised above his head with a buzzed smile, the kid is injured. I'll chop off my legs. However, Lin Yuyen's mobile phone ding-dong to the media, and the picture exposed Lu Ting's father's loan shark's fake bill. Boom, the whole network was in a state of panic, and the creditor ghosts were trembling with wide-eyed eyes. Dad Lu, the black money used to finance debts has been exposed. My line is broken. The strong man's iron rod hit the ground with a snap and sparks burned, shrinking like a rat and roaring, pay off the money and leave. The shadow of Lu Ting's huge body collapsed in the distance, his iron chain sleeves clanked to the ground, his dad's loan shark's fake loan bill collapsed internally, his nosebleed cracked and his gray face turned into a twisted smile of despair, he staggered and yelled out, Qin Feng. I helped the devil to suppress Dad's deadline, and I'm a black man when I lose the game. I'm sorry, the God League Alliance is strong, I'm wrong. All the freshmen in the school opened their eyes wide and whispered tremblingly. Admiration, the school bully took the initiative to apologize. Lu Ting's face was shattered, and his father's fake news was exposed. Qin Feng mobilized to the sky. Wang Hao jumped with his fat body and shouted in tears, Brother Feng, destroy the overlord. Brother Chen's father's debt is cleared, and his self-esteem counterattack dream comes true. Chen Feng's thin body supported his father's yellow face, his glasses flashed with tears, and his fist touched Qin Feng. The ghost of the creditor disappeared, the iron rod mopping the floor creaked in the night wind, and the stench of smoke and blood faded away. The lingering fragrance of osmanthus filled his nostrils. Chen Feng's father stumbled up, holding his son's shoulder with his blood-stained hand and trembling. He whispered hoarsely, Son. Dad's dream of paying back money by mistake, Lahua will not destroy it. Su Nuanshui locked eyes with Qin. The wind-blooded figure, with a pink face and a sweet face, and a heartbeat that was pounding, touched his arm with electric current and whispered in his sweet ears, Qin Feng, mobilize the blood of the whole class to protect the family, and my heart was in eternal chaos, I like the power of friendship. Ambiguous hormones burned like honey, and the collision of youthful self-esteem turned into sweet tears. Lin Yuyen's round eyes were red and swollen, and she shook her towel to take pictures of the crowd, smiling tremblingly. The media is praising Lu Ting's father for his dirty work, the Alliance's legend has been upgraded, and the campus of the Divine League will last forever. The bell rang loudly at the start of the game. The whole school playground was crowded with people cheering like waves. Lu Ting's huge body came on the stage with iron chains hiding his sleeves. He stared at Chen Feng with a ferocious smile, hide the debt monkey, wait for you with dirty tricks, and break your leg in a duel. Chen Feng's skinny legs trembled slightly but he held the ball in his fist, and the fire behind his glasses burned. Dad is strong and I am strong, can I reverse it? Qin Feng whispered, Brother Tai, the layout is on. The kickoff sounded with a crisp pop, Lu Ting secretly pushed with his palms, Chen Feng stumbled to the ground and pop, the whole audience gasped, the crisis erupted again. Late at night, at the desk, the residual smell of rubber sweat hit my nostrils, Chen Feng's carving knife squeaked, sawdust flying, and the fourth message finally got to the heart, the alliance to protect the family has avenged shame, and my father has paid off his debts and has a strong self-esteem. Now I confess the truth, Sun Wan, my heart moved when I transferred to the school at the first sight, and the latte art dream spins for you. The secret of youth is finally revealed. Qin Feng red pupils shrank and blood rekindled, Sun Wan bit her pink lips and her white eyes were sweet, Lin Yuyan's intelligence, buzzed, refreshed the crisis image, the remnants of the black forces outside the school are locked. Wang Hao's round face shouted, the God group fights again. The night shadow in the distance was blurred, the lone shark remnants roared faintly, friendship and affection were ignited, and the bloody storm was not over yet. The night breeze blows gently along the osmanthus path on campus, and the lingering fragrance penetrates like honey and sweat into the rubber floor. The shadows of the four people beside the desks are elongated, and the crisp sound of sawdust falling to the ground is still there. Qin Feng's fingertips touched the new mark of the carving knife, and the words in the fourth message were as hot as fire, the alliance has become a shame, and my father's debt has been cleared, and I am proud of myself. Now I confess the truth, Sun Wan, my heart moved at the first sight when I transferred to another school, and I dreamed of spinning flowers for you. The secret of youth is finally revealed. His tall and thin body was slightly stiff, and the blood scab on his shoulder was pulling and hissing, his ribs were broken, and the lingering fear was slowly receding like a tide, and his blood was hot. Pupils locked in Sun Wan's pink face flushed, water eyes panicked and sparkling pink lips biting white marks, Lin Yuyan's round eyes stared at the low vibration information on her mobile phone, her hands and knees were swollen and painful and flicked the edge of pop, Wang Hao's round face and fat body leaned close to the milk tea and Gulu bubbled, his eyes worshipped out of frame and swallowed cold air, brother Feng. Brother Chen confessed to Sister Wan. Lawawa dream spins Sun Wan, the friendship between Shendan Taigu is broken. The night breeze in Sun Wan's pink skirt, hula, lightly pressed against the crook of her legs, her hydrating lips trembled and choked with sweet words, her fingertips unconsciously pinched Lin Yuyan's arm flesh and the squeaking, white mark became deeper, her heartbeat, thumping, and the electric current rushing through her body became chaotic. Her watery eyes were lowered and locked on Qin Feng's blood shadow, her father's debt school ghost roar flashed in her mind, the pile of fundraising red envelopes made a crunching sound, Qin Feng jumped on the table and roared about the power of friendship, sweet the torture hormones are burning but hurting the self-esteem, Chen Feng, the first time I transferred to another school, my heart fell in love with me. The flower dream is spinning for me, Qin Feng's passionate family protection current is always chaotic, today's message reveals a secret, how can I respond? The freshmen in the class were whispering in the distance like a tide, the legend of the God group is new. Brother Chen confessed to the class star, Brother Qin Feng's self-esteem was shattered, and whose family did Sister Wan fall sweetly? Chen Feng's lean body was leaning on the table. The scabs on his nose were drying up. His pupils were shrunk behind his glasses and the heartache was relieved by the prick of the needle. The whole school knew the truth about his father's smoking and yellow face. He was a nurse in the warehouse. His old knee injury was clucking, and he was holding it up slightly. He swallowed phlegm in his throat and roared hoarsely, "Brother! My children, the message game is over, my father's debts have been cleared, my shame is strong, I am an introvert who has transferred to another school, and I have a hidden problem in my heart. Today, the whole class alliance has changed me." But before he could finish his words, Wang Hao slapped the table with his fat arm and made a deafening sound, and his round face twisted and screamed in panic. Qin Feng's fists turned white when he pinched them, and the blood on his knuckles was still dry. The iron oath in the coffee shop was flashed in his mind, and the school gate red envelope made a crisp sound of "Didi." Lu Ting knelt down with a gray face and apologized. His tall and thin figure slapped Chen Feng on the shoulder with a thunderous sound, and he roared that the lava was pouring out. "Yong, brother Tai. You initiated the message game to spread the heartache. Today, the whole class will avenge the shame of Dad's crisis. Self-esteem is a dream come true. Tell the truth clearly." The voice echoed in the night sky and the lights shattered. The freshman whispered hesitantly and swallowed cold air, "Qin Feng is injured and needs to be mobilized again. Brother Chen, my heart is pounding, Sister Wan is so scared, who will chase her?" Chen Feng threw her skinny legs trembling on the table, her glasses were shattered and she burst into tears. She shouted with sobs in her throat, "I'm not confessing to Sister Nguyen. I was moved at the first sight when I transferred to another school. It was her smile that melted my introversion. Lo Hua Meng's training to strengthen my self-esteem is the proof. Friendship. Brother Qin Feng, you jumped on the table and donated to protect Dad. I am an introvert and turned into a hero. It's all thanks to my brother Sun Wan. Thank you for taking the lead in raising money and protecting your children." The truth exploded like thunder, and the wood chips flew and the lights danced. Su Nuanshui's eyes sparkled with tears, her pink face turned sweet and she released a honeyed smile. Her fingertips let go of Linyu, and the red marks on her arms faded away. Her heartbeat was thumping, and the electric current rushed straight into Qin Feng's bloody arms. Her pink skirt fluttered and she rushed forward, her soft body leaning against his tall and thin chest, the fragrance of osmanthus mixed with sweat. The blood is salty and tangy, and he murmurs like silk, "Chen Feng. I understand your desire to avenge your shame, and the friendship of the alliance is sweet. Qin Feng, at the school gate, you roared to mobilize tens of thousands of donations to protect the family, and your hot-blooded figure will always be in my heart. Let me tell you now, I like you, from the moment when the three-point blood sprayed out and the sweet ear whispered." Lin Yuyen's eyes widened, and her cell phone rang loudly. Her knees were swollen and she couldn't help shouting, "Nguyen Nguyen confesses to Qin Fengshen. The matchmaking is successful, and it's all up to you to destroy the ghosts with the best friends. The ambiguous current of youth is so sweet." Wang Hao's fat body jumped and his round face burst into tears. Roaring, "Sister Nguyen, Qin Feng is the match. Brother Chen's heart is publicly avenged, and the divine group is promoted forever." The freshmen gathered around with eyes widened in admiration, and the whispers turned into a tsunami of cheers. Sun Wan confessed to the hot-blooded god of war. Chen Feng became an introvert and became a hero, and the legend of the message game was complete. At the end of the night, the lights on the osmanthus path were turned off, and everyone dispersed. The remaining warmth was like fire. After school started, the buzz on the campus escalated, and the reputation of the Shentuan Alliance surged. The whole class of freshmen whispered in admiration during class, their eyes glittering and swallowing cold air. Qin Feng mobilized tens of thousands of donations to destroy ghosts. Sun Wan raised money to warm up the gods, Lin Yuyan's shady media suppressed her, Chen Feng's father avenged his debt and was raped. On the side of the playground, Wang Hao's fat body squeezed a pile of milk tea and gulu to the crowd, his round face distorted and worshipped, "Brother Feng, Brother Chen." The school bully Lu Ting knelt down with a grey face, and heard that he repented and joined the volunteers. The group is invincible. The blood scab on Qin Feng's shoulders healed, the pain in his ribs disappeared, and the sweat on his t-shirt smelled sweet. He fist-bumped Chen Feng and laughed loudly, "Brother Tai, the knot in my heart is growing openly. Dad is strong in the warehouse to protect you. Do you know the whole school is a laughing stock?" The shadow of Lu Ting's huge body flashes on the playground, the iron chain sleeves, ding-dong, are removed, the nosebleeds are washed away, and the grey face turns pale and regretful. His father's loan shark fake documents are exposed and the internal disintegration is exposed. The deadline of the football game is completely defeated. He stumbles and hits the cement with his front knee with a muffled bang, and his voice trembles like a leaf, "Qin Feng Chen Feng. I borrowed money from my father to help the devil suppress the school gate. I mistakenly recognized the hatred and fell to the ground. Sign up for the volunteer club to resolve the grudges and the school bully is reborn." The freshmen in the class gasped and their eyes widened, whispering tremblingly, Lu Ting took the initiative to volunteer, the blood of the gods is contagious. Invincible. Sun Wan's pink-skirted eyes flashed with pity, and she waved her pink arms and said sweetly, "Brother Ting. I had a misunderstanding in the past, but now you join the alliance to protect the family and grow." Lin Yuyen narrowed her round eyes and checked the phone, her swollen knees faded and her smile trembled, the list of volunteers has been locked, and the evil forces are here. The party line is broken, the crisis is resolved. Qin Feng looked at the tall man and shouted, "The grievances are clear, the volunteer alliance is strong, let's celebrate together at the campus festival." Wang Hao slapped Lu Ting on the shoulder with his fat arm, and shouted with tears in his eyes, "The overlord turns to the volunteer god. Milk tea for the whole class." During the campus festival, the sun shines on the playground, colorful balloons explode and ribbons fly, the aroma of barbecue smoke mixed with the sweetness of marshmallows hits the nostrils, and the bells of the stalls jingle bells are rang, and the crowds are surging. The balance of the red envelopes at the Shentuan Alliance booth was piled up in a rustling, crunchy mountain, and the voice recorder pocketed the dad's debt testimonials to broadcast the buzzing latte art demonstration. Chen Feng spins the art of milk foam, and his pupils flashed confidently behind his glasses. Dad's warehouse smokes to protect the dream of transferring to another school. Today, the latte art stall is strong, and the whole school will try it. The freshman girl screamed in admiration, her watery eyes widened and gasped, "Chen Feng's amazing latte art. Introverted hero avenges shame." Qin Feng show. The tall figure grilled skewers with a shovel, sizzling, and the oil was golden. The blood marks on his shoulders were hidden in his t-shirt. He shouted with enthusiasm, "Volunteer Lu Ting turns the meat. The alliance stall is invincible." Lu Ting's huge body bent over the shovel and trembled with beads of sweat. His face was rosy and sweat mixed with oil fumes after unloading the iron chain. He roared, "Good turn. Self-esteem is reborn, thank you Shentuan." The boys gathered around and whispered with eyes out of frame, "The school bully volunteer turns the meat handsome. The blood is contagious to the whole school." Sun Wan's pink skirt fluttered in front of the stall, her watery eyes locked on Qin Feng's sweaty figure, her heartbeat was thumping, and the electric current was always chaotic. She handed him sweet marshmallows on her pink arm, and touched his arm with her fingertips and whispered, "Qin Feng celebrates his growth, passionate Hu Jiayong likes it, promise before graduation." Lin Yuyan said with a wink and a smile, Muan fell into sweetness. Burn. Wang Hao's round-faced milk tea tower was piled up, and his fat body jumped and yelled, "Jela Chen, grilled skewers, Sister Nguyen's cotton candy, Brother Ting's meat, and Sister Yan's information." The whole class knelt down. The tide screamed, boom, and their eyes spit fire with admiration, the gods are worshipping the legend. The introverted hero avenges his father's debt, the hot-blooded mobilizing god of war, the warm-blooded class beauty, the volunteer overlord, the best friend of the media, and his youthful growth is invincible. The setting sun lengthened the golden shadow of the stall, and the lingering fragrance of the barbecue lingered with the sweet osmanthus. Everyone sat around the lawn and the balloons fell to the ground with a pop. Chen Feng leaned against Qin Feng, his glasses flashed with tears and whispered, "Brother. After the game, I left a message to express my gratitude, and my introversion became stronger. It's all thanks to you." Su Nuanshui leaned on Qin Feng's arm, her pink face buried in her chest and hummed sweetly, "Growing up celebration, graduation and separation, premonition of heartache, but friendship. Forever." Lu Ting crossed his legs and said sincerely, "Grudges are resolved, volunteers will respect themselves." Lin Yuyan's cell phone buzzed with information, her round eyes were red, "The remaining gang members are gone, the sacrifice is perfect." Wang Hao's fat armband shouted, "The god group will be passed down forever. Cheers to the milk tea." Amidst the tsunami of cheers, Qin Feng reflected in his mind, the alliance protects the family, the reputation is sweet, and the self-esteem is immortal. The pain in Qin Feng's ribs was slowly receding, and his tall and thin figure was elongated like a mountain. His fists heated up and he reflected in his mind, lowering the bottom and jumping to the sky, "Brother tie protects each other and warm sister's current, the power of friendship in the class carries everything, self-esteem grows forever." All the freshmen in the school knelt down in worship and screamed, "Boom, Qin Feng god of war mobilizes. Sun Wan raises money to warm the gods, Lin Yuyan destroys the media, and the whole class alliance protects the family with iron blood. Wang Hao's new milk tea, Gulu, handed over the round face in worship. Brother Feng and Brother Chen, there will be no more crisis for Dad, God will pass on forever. The night is like ink pouring down the campus to commemorate the lights, the iron gates are creaking like ghost claws scratching the heart, the stench of smoke mixed with the aroma of barbecue is pungent to the nose and throat, Lin Yuyan's round eyes are wide open, the fluorescent light of her mobile phone is buzzing, her knees are recovering and her legs are weak and she is kneeling on the grass. Ping, with trembling fingertips, he clicked on the information, the leader of the remnant party, Gue Guang, came to Chen's father's warehouse in person. The lone shark made a last-ditch effort, video of burning the warehouse and locking up the debt before graduation, and the father's cigarette-smoking face is in dire straits again. Chen Feng's thin body became stiff with boom, and his pupils behind his glasses his eyes shrank into the shadow of his dad, nosebleeds and scabs dripped blood onto his cheeks, and his throat was choked with sobs and he shouted hoarsely, "Dad, the warehouse protects my dream of transferring to another school. I am so confident in my latte art today. It's all thanks to my brother-in-law to avenge his shame. The remnants of the gang will take revenge and destroy the family." Wang Hao's fat body and round face were distorted and panicked. The milk tea tower smashed to the ground and the broken glass made a clanking sound. He waved his fat arms and shouted loudly, "The gods are worshipping the king. The shadows burn the warehouse and Dad is in danger. Dreams are shattered before the graduation ceremony. The worship of the whole school becomes a laughing stock." The night breeze in Sun Wan's pink dress hurrahed and clung to the crook of her legs, her watery eyes bursting with tears locked onto Qin Feng's tall figure, her heartbeat, thumping, and the electric current rushing around her self-esteem stung. The alliance is sweet to avenge the debt, and the remnants of the party are fighting for the last time, and the current of blood to protect the family will always be chaotic, and I am not worthy of you. The freshmen in the distance were whispering, their eyes were round and cold, and they were sarcastic, "Dad, Chen Feng's warehouse is burned, introverted. The hero's dream of pulling flowers was ruined, Qin Feng's mobilization of the hot-blooded god of war failed, and Sister Wan's sweetness fell into ashes." Lu Ting's huge body trembled in the shadow, and the iron chain sleeves were empty and popped in the wind. His gray face turned pale with regret and sweat, and his Adam's apple rolled, "My dad." The black material collapsed and helped the ghost. Today's volunteers turn their bodies around and respect themselves. The remnants of the gang are my old enemies. Do you kneel down and regret that it is useless to burn the warehouse and destroy the grievances? The oppressive black clouds are overwhelming, the sweet scent of osmanthus turns to the smell of smoke, everyone's eyes flash with despair, self-esteem collides with youthful misunderstandings like a knife. Qin Feng's fist made a clucking sound, and the bloody scabs on his knuckles pulled and hissed with dull pain. The iron oath of latte art in the coffee shop flashed in his mind, and the red envelope donated by the school gate was crispy. Iron gates, roaring lava surged and echoed across the campus, "Brother. Leave a message in the game to publicly avenge your shame. The whole school worships the legend of the sacrifice stall. Today's remnant party finally fights to burn down the warehouse. The alliance of the gods is rekindled. Protect the family's self-respect before graduation." The voice was like thunder, exploding the lights in the night sky. It shattered, Wang Hao's round face and fat body bounced up with a boom, his eyes worshipped out of the frame and he swallowed cold air and shouted, "Brother Feng mobilizes the gods. Break the milk tea into pieces and pile them up again, the ghost stick." But before he finished speaking, Lin Yuyan's cell phone, ding-dong, new news burst out, "The ghost stick has more than 10 sword hands, the warehouse is on fire." The light was already rising, and the smoke was rising into the sky. Father Chen was tied up with a smoky face and was chained, shouting for help. Chen Feng knelt down with his thin leg and knee injury coming back, his glasses were shattered and his eyes were filled with tears, and his throat was choked with sobs. "Brother, my father's transfer to another school was not ruined, but the video of burning the warehouse and the debt sheet is in ashes, and my introverted dream of becoming a hero is shattered." The whole school's freshmen gathered around to watch, whispering and trembling, turning into a tsunami of ridicule. Qin Feng loses another battle with the hot blood. The Divine Group Festival was ruined. Volunteer Lu Ting made a fool of himself. Sister Nuan's self-esteem was shattered and she cried. Su Nuanshui's eyes were panicked and she bit her glittering pink lips. Her pink skirt fluttered and she rushed forward to lean against Qin Feng's chest. Gui, the fragrance of flowers mixed with sweat, the saltiness of blood, and the sweetness hit her nose, and she whispered, Qin Feng. I like you passionately, but my father is in crisis and feels ashamed, and my heart aches when the alliance is broken. Qin Feng's thin arm around her waist was as warm as fire, and his fists were hot and his eyes were fixed on the distant smoke column. His heart was as depressed as a ton of energy, but electricity was rushing through him, ready to go. Lu Ting's huge body stumbled and his front knee hit the cement with a muffled sound. His gray face twisted and regretted and he yelled, Brother Feng. I will lead the way with old grudges. Volunteers will respect themselves and clear up their grievances. The back door of the warehouse will climb over the wall to put out the fire. Lin Yuyen's round eyes were red and swollen as her knees bounced up. She clenched the information with a pop and growled, the video backup of the debt bill is locked in the cloud. The recorder carries the testimony and broadcasts it to the whole school. The media is suppressing the remnants. The night wind roared, the iron gate of the school creaked wildly, and the tall and lanky figures of the Shentuan Alliance ran wildly through the streets, their footsteps, clacking, echoing on the cement, the smoke pillars soaring into the sky, the firelight of the warehouse reflected half of the sky, and the pungent smell of burnt wood bursting, cracking, hit the face. Chen Feng's dad tied his smoky yellow face to the iron chain post, his gray hair fluttered wildly and roared hoarsely, Fenger. I dreamed of transferring to my dad to protect me. Now my debt is cleared and I am ashamed to destroy the fire. The ghost stick was blurred and black, and the sword flashed with a ding-dong sound. More than 10 swordsmen yelled with fierce eyes, the school bully Lu Ting kneels down with a gray face, and the hot-blooded Qin Feng mobilizes to destroy the family before graduation. Despair burns in the heart, the knees of the divine group are weak and the legs are shaking, and the freshmen are whispering in fear. Dad smokes yellow face and locks the fire pillar, the ghost stick is invincible, the youth dream of the divine group is ruined. Qin Feng's tall and thin figure boomed, and the iron gate of the leap warehouse crunched and bent and deformed, his shoulder was scabbed and hissed, and blood beads splashed, and his hot-blooded pupils locked the ghost stick and roared with thunder, the remnant ghost stick. Dad's dead avenge message game alliance protector, sacrifice stall the whole school knows the legend. Is this the time to burn the warehouse and take revenge? Is the God group going to kill you with all their blood? The fist hit the sword and the arm bone broke with a click. The three of them fell to the ground with a pop, and the blood shadows stretched and flames danced. Lu Ting's huge body swung the iron bar behind him and swung the ding-dong to smash the ghost stick and the knife. Sparks exploded. His gray face was full of regret and sweat was steaming, and he shouted, "Volunteers wipe out old grudges." Dad's scandal broke and the deadline was cut off. I have to turn over my own flesh to put out the fire. Wang Hao's fat body squeezed the milk tea bottle and smashed the knife in his hand. Ghost. The king's sacrifice rekindled. Lin Yuyen's round-eyed intelligence broadcast was broadcast live to the whole school, the testimony of the remnant party's burning of the warehouse was broadcast, and the cloud video was blocked and the media was suppressed. Sun Wan's pink skirt reflected the red water, and she smashed the small flames with a marshmallow-wrapped iron rod, and shouted sweetly, "Warm God Alliance protects the family." Chen Feng's thin body pounced on his father's iron chain, which clucked loose. He flashed his glasses with confidence and made an impromptu milk foam fire extinguishing column. White smoke filled the air, and he roared hoarsely, "Dad, the introverted wolf turned into a hero when he transferred to another school. He avenged his dream of playing tricks, all thanks to his iron buddy." Dad's smoky yellow face broke down in tears and he hugged his gray-haired son. Trembling, Fenger. Dad's warehouse smoke protects the dream, now the fire will extinguish the debt and clear the growth. The ghost stick's scarred face twisted the sword and wildly waved, whoosh, and the wind sounded at Qin Feng. He roared and laughed ferociously. The hot-blooded boy mobilized tens of thousands of people to donate smiles, and the remnant party finally burned down the family. Qin Feng's tall and thin figure stepped aside in lightning, and his fists were hot. Like the bang of magma hitting the ghost stick's sternum, the sternum was dented, the groaning sound flew backwards, the bang hit the fire pillar, and the sawdust flew, squeaking, the blood scabs pulled and hurt, but a hot-blooded storm erupted, and the low roar echoed in the warehouse. Leave a message to tell the heartache, friendship and self-esteem are forever, and the remnant party is invincible. The freshman's eyes widened during the live broadcast from a distance, and the trembling whispers turned into a tsunami of admiration. Qin Feng jumps over the fence to kill the swordsman. Lu Ting smashes ghosts with an iron rod, Chen Feng pulls flowers to kill the god of fire, Sister Nguyen is sweet in the Marshmallow Alliance, Wang Hao's milk tea is poured out, Sister Yen is suppressed by the media, and the legend of Dad's cigarette and yellow face is rekindled. The knife hand Yu Dang's legs went weak and he knelt down with a clang of the knife. The ghost stick's scarred face vomited blood and gray face got up and trembled and begged for mercy, hot-blooded gods. The debts are destroyed in the cloud, and the revenge of burning warehouses is shattered. Please spare your life. The police rushed to the night sky with their sirens blaring, and the handcuffs clicked to lock the remaining party. The train sizzled to extinguish the smoke column and disperse the smell of burnt wood, and the father and son hugged each other in tears under the ashes of the warehouse. Lin Yuyen's round-eyed mobile phone buzzed off the live broadcast, and her knees bounced with a smile. The intelligence is completely victorious. The remnants of the underworld will be eliminated forever, and the media at the graduation ceremony will be avenged. Wang Hao, with his fat arms high and round face, burst into tears and yelled, "Cheers to milk tea to destroy the Ghost King. The youth of the gods are invincible." Lu Ting, with his big body panting and gray face, sincerely rushed forward and slapped Qin Feng on the shoulder. Hot and handsome. Su Nuanshui's eyes locked with Qin Feng's blood and her arms were warm, her pink skirt fluttered and she nestled against her chest. Her heartbeat was beating sweetly, and she murmured sweetly, "I will fight again with my passion for protecting my family, and I will love you when I graduate." Chen Feng held his hand on his dad, his glasses flashed confidently and whispered, "Brother Tai. Dad's dream of destroying the warehouse is fulfilled, and the message game has grown completely, all thanks to the alliance to change the introverted wolf." The sun shone in the auditorium during the graduation ceremony, the red scarf swirled, and the graduation cap popped, and the ribbons flew into the sky. The chorus of the school song, Buzz, was deafening, and the fragrance of osmanthus mixed with the sweetness of sweat. Sitting in the front row of the Shentuan Alliance, Qin Feng, a tall and thin figure with blood on his shoulders hidden in a t-shirt, his warm-blooded pupils sweeping the crowd with a smile as warm as spring, Chen Feng's father, a smoky yellow face and a straight suit, sat in the back row, with tears streaming down his face behind his glasses and his admiring child's latte art, sizzling, white waves on the stage. The teachers and students in the school were wide-eyed and screaming like a tsunami, "Avenge the shame of the introverted hero Dad. The warehouse fire will destroy the legend forever." Lu, the armband of the volunteer with a huge body, flashed, and he turned the graduation book with a gray face and clicked sincerely, "Self-respecting alliance, grievances become friends." Lin Yuyan blinked her mobile phone information forever, her knees healed and she threw the towel and smiled, "The media is completely victorious, and the black shadow disappears without a trace to sacrifice by Shuang legend." Wang Hao, who has a fat body and squeezed the milk tea tower, Gulu, handed it to the stage, and his round face twisted and shouted, "Cheers to the graduation king. See you again at Shentuan University." Principal Mike buzzed to commend the group, Qin Feng enthusiastically mobilized the family protector, Chen Feng avenged his shame in the message game, Su Nuanyuan raised funds, Lu Ting volunteered for reincarnation, Lin Yuyan intelligence overwhelming, Wang Hao milk tea alliance, youth growth campus will be passed down forever. The whole audience burst into applause, and the eyes of the fresh graduates worshipped and breathed fire whispers and trembled. The message conveyed the heartache to the public. The fire in the father's debt warehouse was extinguished, and the memorial stall grilled skewers with fried meat and marshmallows. The remaining gangsters knelt down and locked up. The passionate friendship and love are invincible. Soon Wan's pink-skirted eyes touched Qin Feng's arms, her fingertips caressed the blood scab and smiled warmly. Growing up, the passionate figure is forever, the separation in college is sweet and painful, and the self-esteem is strong. Let's chase the dream together. Qin Feng put his arms around his waist and roared at the magma, sweet lover's iron oath. The message is perfect, the new chapter of the college god group is rekindled. During the ceremony, the sunlight elongated the golden figure, and the crowd gathered around the playground with the pop of balloons. Chen Feng's father held Qin Feng's hand and trembled and burst into tears. Boy, protect Fenger's dream of transferring to school. The warehouse fire extinguished my dad's cigarette-stained face. Thank you for your strong self-esteem. The smell of dad's cigarette faded away and the warehouse was rebuilt with ashes. A wave of new students worshipped him, the graduation legend of the God group. The introvert becomes a hero, the god of war is warm, the volunteer overlord, the youthful hormones are forever. Wang Hao's fat armbanded milk tea cheered, let's fight again, leave a message to the new school. Lin Yuyan blinked with round eyes, the intelligence is targeting the dark shadow of the university. Lu Ting's big body crossed his legs and smiled sincerely, Volunteer Alliance University Protector. In the afterglow of the setting sun, Qin Feng's mind reflected on the low sky, the encounter with his brother during the summer coffee, the painful challenge of leaving messages on the desk, the school bully blocking the Alliance's counterattack, the avenging of his father's debt and his growth, the fruit of friendship, love and self-esteem will never die. But the iron gate of the university loomed in the distance, and the whispers of the new students buzzed low. Lin Yuyan's mobile phone, ding-dong, flashed new information. The overlord of the university club has locked the rumor of the divine group, and the secret of youth is finally restarted. Chen Feng's glasses confidently flashed his fist and punched Qin Feng and, pop, hot, brother Tai, the new message game university is burning. The hot-blooded storm has not extinguished, the legend of youth continues to be written, everyone's figures melt into the night with a tsunami of laughter, and the divine group will be passed down forever. But as night fell, the festival lights buzzed on, the school gate creaked in the distance, and the fuzzy black shadow roared and the stench of smoke filled her nostrils. Lin Yuyan's mobile phone dinged to refresh the crisis. Before the graduation ceremony, Chen Feng's dad's warehouse gangsters made a last-ditch effort. The Lone Shark Gang is locked in. Chen Feng's thin face was slightly stiff, his glasses shrunk, and Wang Hao's round face swallowed the cold breath and shouted, the God group fights again.